Good morning, Alexia. It's Raptor Freak here Friday morning. The Raptors are back in Toronto. They flew back Wednesday night, and they've been trying to adjust back to the Eastern Conference time zone in the last day or so. And it's not easy. Like, I'm glad that they don't have a regular 9 to 5. I mean, they have a busy schedule, but they can fit things around because really yesterday should have been all about resting and sleeping as much as possible. Just, your body's not going to totally adjust to the clocks. It's going to be weird. It's going to feel weird. And you just need to kind of keep your eyes on the prize as far as game times. Like, the game time today is like 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be weird for their bodies to acclimate. They have not been active on social media very much in the last day or so, which to me means they flew back, they're sleeping, they're trying to adjust their bodies to get their biorhythm back to the East Coast. And the whole rest of the schedule, we don't go anywhere out of the Eastern Standard Time Zone from now on. We are playing everybody pretty much here, a couple maybe in Central with Chicago, but otherwise we're pretty much just staying on this coast, which is great. Because we don't want to see any kind of lackadaisicalness because of the jet lag, because of the coming back all the way from the West Coast really fast like this in 48 hours. It can affect the team. And the other thing, like we said, I keep bringing it up. Monique talks about it. When you go on a road trip and you come back, your first home game when you come back can be dangerous. And it's because you come back and there's a little bit of like relief. You're like, a little bit of comfort. I'm back. And you may be a little lackadaisical just for that reason. So they really need to watch how their energy is. Luckily, we're playing a team that's really bad at getting their energy together and getting themselves on the right page. And that really is the main key to victory tonight, is outwork them. And to a degree, outworking the Lakers is kind of easy these days. We're seeing all these teams get to 20-point leads in the first quarter against them right now, and that's outworking them. So we just need to see more of that. It's been hilarious this week. The amount of abuse and hell that LeBron James has been getting for his play and the way he's been acting and stuff like that. It really is true that he's getting exposed to a degree for just how much of a punk he is in his personality on the court. Listen, you could carry yourself so much better, LeBron. You really could. And I would champion you. I would look up to you. I would be like, this dude is a cool dude. This guy is a good dude. And I respect him. But like how I was with Michael Jordan back in the day, I didn't root for Michael. I was never a big Michael fan. I'm more of a fan in his retirement and years gone by, and really a lot because this GOAT argument is always so paramount. Michael, LeBron. Well, I'm firmly in the Jordan camp, and I hated Jordan. He used to kill my team back in the day. I was never a Jordan fan. I was against Jordan when he played. And now I'm for Jordan because it doesn't make any logical sense how you can try and make the argument. I understand you can go by career stats, but really, what is career stats, LeBron? It's individual achievement. It's achievement that you did on your own. And Michael's achievements all really have to do with winning, and they have to do with team stats, team things. He made his team better. His team won, things like that. And that's part of the difference, is that kind of stuff. Anyway, we don't want to get too much into that GOAT argument, but that's where I firmly stand. And I used to hate Kobe too. I never was a big Kobe fan or anything like that. I feel really sad about the way he died. And I have way more respect for him in death and like retirement, and somebody that, like, he is a legend. He's a badass. I have way, way, way more respect because these gentlemen, when they were on the court, they didn't act like punk ass little bitches. They didn't go and whine and throw balls off rookies' stomachs and take cheap shots and do stupid shit like that. And you just look bad, LeBron, like you're exposed. We can see it all on the world stage, the way you act like a baby. And I can't understand why everybody should be looking up to you, because you're a horrible person to look up to. Click 2M, good morning. Just woke up. Yeah, I just woke up too. I'm just trying to get back on that East Coast time, even though I've been living on the East Coast time. I've been living on West Coast time too this week. Tom Duke, good morning. Yes, happy Friday, freaks. Let's keep getting business done at home for a change. Yeah, I like our chances tonight. Obviously, we should like our chances tonight. But there are these weird aberrations in the Lakers schedule where they suddenly start playing playing or they get something going. So we really can't take it lightly still. This is still an NBA team. And not only that, this is an NBA team that has a couple of probably future Hall of Famers on it. So you should never, ever take a team lightly like that. Even if they look like absolute shit and they have a bunch of huge problems on their team, you still don't want to be that team where they figure a little bit of things out against. So we have to be all business, like Tom Duke's saying. We are businessmen. We go to the arena for business. We take care of business. We annex the paint. We say, this is our zone. You don't come in here, you don't score. That's business. That's Raptor business. So we need to do that more tonight. Once again, frustrate them. I would love to see a score like 30-2 in the first quarter tonight. Once again, show that it wasn't some sort of fluke or random thing, that this is a common occurrence for the Lakers when they play other teams, that they're down 30-2. So I want to see that again tonight. It's going to be badass. Jacob McLean's in Australia, and he's saying he's about to go to sleep. Well, I hope you go and get some good rest. Dream about a great Raptor victory tonight. LeBron crying and being so lame tonight, and get up in the morning and watch the game, Jacob. I hope you get to watch a really good game when you wake up later on in the morning and you see how the Raptors play LeBron James. Yeah. I hope you get good sleep, nice, sweet dreams of Scotty Barnes jamming the ball, Pascal spinning and wheeling and dealing, Precious hitting threes, all that good stuff, Jacob. I hope you have the great dreams tonight. Yeah. Click 2 a.m. saying, I really hope the boys aren't tired and we know the importance of this game. We really can't take this lightly, but I think in a way, LeBron and himself is a safeguard from this because they see this guy on the other side and they want to impress. They want to get up for this game, even if they're a crappy team and even if they don't seem like they'll put up much of a fight. Our guys got to get up for this game because it's LeBron and it's the Lakers and it's a big deal. And it's the kind of thing also, I think, like I said, there's a legacy from Kyle and DeMar of why we need to beat LeBron on our franchise. Yeah, there's a legacy. And I hope that Kyle passed that legacy down to Fred and Pascal and told them why it is so important for the Toronto Raptors franchise to defeat LeBron whenever we play them. And hopefully Fred doesn't take this lightly. He takes this real seriously. And they come out there and they just mess them up. We want to have entertainment tonight, please. We want to see you guys kick their ass and we want to be laughing because it's so fun to see how bad the Lakers are compared to our team and how synergized and badass our team is playing with each other. All for one and one for all. Instead of like three musketeers, they're old retired Hall of Famers and then a bunch of scrubs with them. Then they don't even teach them nothing. They just fucking cuss at them like, fuck, get the fucking rebound, fucking fuck. You know, that kind of shit. That's what's going on with their side. Meanwhile, we're all for one and one for all. Free musketeers going on with the Raptors. And these motherfuckers are like, we're the three kings and you are all our serfs and you play under us. You know, King James, King Russell, King Carmelo. And then you got all these other guys underneath them is what's going on there. But yes, Click saying usually first game back from road is the hardest. I want to blow them out. Let's not even count this as a home game, y'all. This is still on the road because we stay on the road. We go right back out on the road and go to Philadelphia and Chicago for Sunday and Monday. So let's just act like this is a road game, even though that crowd's going to be great. That crowd's going to be all for the Raptors tonight. And really, I hope that crowd does come correct tonight to handle LeBron James the way we need to handle him. Yes. And I've already seen some of the comments on social media in different places. People are saying when we go to the game tonight, let's boo the hell out of LeBron. Let's give him that Goran treatment. Yeah, let's start calling it that, the Goran treatment, because we did such a good job in that Brooklyn Nets game when all the fans were finally able to come back in the building. Let's call it the Goran treatment. We need to give LeBron the Goran treatment tonight and really, really let him know how we approve of him or disapprove of him and his behavior from Monday night in Los Angeles. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let me keep going here. Tom Duke's saying keep that syrup bottle open and pouring it. Yeah, why not? Let's not. All right, let's have this difference from Monday night tonight. Let's get out there and blow them out 30-2 right off the start and then not let the gas off. Don't let them have nothing in the second half where they come back and make the gap shorter. Let's get a 30-point win on them tonight. Let's keep that syrup layer thick. nice and thick, hovering over those pancakes that stack, get it real nice and high and nice and thick with the syrup, and just keep pouring the syrup as the game goes on. And that'd be fantastic. Click saying the Lakers are going to give their best shot because they want to get out of that rut. Raptors got to be locked in for 48. Yeah, it's dangerous. It's a dangerous team. You got a wounded animal. You got a wounded animal over in the corner, like shaking and not feeling too good because it's been abused. Yeah. Teams have been abusing that team left and right, making fun of them, clowning them. Yeah, the Wolves were really making fun of them on Wednesday night. Patrick Beverley was letting Russell Westbrook have it, making him feel bad. They may have some anger inside. They may have something they want to prove. They may be like, yeah, we got to do something. Let's get the Raptors. We can't let that happen. We can't let them get the jump on us. We can't let LeBron do nothing. It's really crazy because we look at things, it's like 50-50. Is LeBron going to play even? Because he is on their injury list. He is questionable. All right, let's do it right now. Injury list right now. THT is hurt right now, y'all. He is questionable for tonight's game. It is his ankle. Of course, he was pretty big on Monday against us. He did some good things off the bench. He was one of the only Lakers off the bench that did anything good. And then LeBron is day-to-day because of his knee. So we don't even know if LeBron's going to suit up or not. Like, it's that kind of thing. It's like either he just is absent, or he may show up and be like a whiny crybaby and not effective, or he may come and he may have a chip on his shoulder and he may come out and try and get 50 points on us and do something really special or crazy. So we have to be prepared for any of the three situations. Nick Nurse and the coaching staff are really good at preparing for different situations as far as whether LeBron James is on the bench in street gloves or he's in a uniform and playing on the court. We will be ready for him either way. Anthony Davis still out, of course, and Kendrick Nunn, of course, is out also. So that's the injuries for the Lakers. On our side, is basically at this point, we have already confirmed this morning that OG Anunoby is ruled out today. He will not be making his return from this finger injury today. And Malachi is also the other name on the list, but nobody else is on there. Gary's over his little mild sickness that he had in the middle of the week. You guys got to remember in the last game, Gary was sick. And that's part of the reason why he missed so many shots on Wednesday night against the Clippers. But also, Fred's not on the injury list, which is great because we know his knee's been back and forth recently. So Click saying, I feel like the refs are going to screw us over tonight. I really hope not. Well, let's see who we get. Like, I was really not happy to see Zach Zarba on Wednesday night against the Clippers, and he was a little screwy at times. Like, some of the stuff with the challenges with the Clippers game was a little messed up and stuff like that. But once again, there is a little bit of criticism right now of Nick Nurse about how he's using the challenge. Like, maybe he's using it a little too early in the game. Maybe he's using it a little too frivolously on certain plays that maybe, is that really a big deal to contest that? It's like, I do want to really actually think about this, Nick. Like, when you're using the challenge, what are you going to get from it? What's the risk and reward? And whether it's worth doing at that time, because it may not be worth doing it in that moment. And you may need it later for a much more crucial thing. Because that is something that we've all been talking about and thinking about. When do you use that challenge and when do you keep it on in the back of your pocket to be able to be used it later in the game? That's something you really got to balance and figure out. It's such a new part of the game that, there really isn't a science to it yet. We're still figuring it out. But yeah, you could do different things. This is an interesting thing, a good thing to bring up. Click to him. Is Dwight Howard out? No, he is not. He will be playing tonight for them. The reason why we didn't see him on Monday is he had personal reasons. I think that he had to go do family things, and he wasn't available. It wasn't even in LA on Monday when we were there. So now he's back. He rejoined the team for the Minnesota game on Wednesday. So he played in that game. He didn't do a whole lot. He only got 2 points. So, but it's that kind of thing where, yes, he brings them more size. It makes it so that LeBron doesn't have to play center the entire game. But really, once again, Dwight Howard is one of these guys that's at the end of their career. Is really a shell of who they used to be. He just doesn't produce. He doesn't do anything. He's worse than he was on the Sixers last year with all these other stops that he's had recently. You see how ineffective he is. The one thing he will do is he is kind of a good defender still, and he can be really annoying for some of our guys down around near the basket. But as far as offense or doing anything to really hurt us in that kind of way, we shouldn't be worried about him. honestly, at all. So yeah, I kind of like that Dwight Howard's back because in a way he messes them up in some different areas too. Click saying Malachi's still injured, bro. Is that strain that bad? Yeah, he's still out. They say he's ruled out for today for sure. I don't know, man. It's just this kind of thing. Like we see different guys like Birch, DJ Wilson, Malachi get these injuries at the bad worst time possible because they really were getting their shot and getting good things going for themselves. And it's unfortunate, but it is part of the game. And the only thing I will say about the Malachi thing is it looks like we're holding his spot for him. The minutes that Armani Brooks are taking right now is really our Malachi spot to get back when he comes back. And I think he will get a chance right away as soon as he comes back to continue to be in the rotation. So I wouldn't worry too much about Malachi. And once again, he's not the kind of player like we haven't needed him for major stretches of this whole year. So why are we so worried about when he's coming back or not? I don't want to rush it. Make sure he's fully healed and better. And maybe part of it is they want to give Brooks more of a look and give him more of a chance on the second 10-day contract and not rush Malachi back. So I wouldn't worry too much. Marlon Toby, good morning, man. Always good to see you. Let's talk about keys to the victory real quick. Once again, I really feel like the most important thing is when you're playing the Lakers is to just play hard. Just play hard. If you naturally play hard and they just play the way they play, we're going to beat them because they are not a team that's putting any effort. They're not on the same page. It's actually really, really mystifying to me. Like if you keep guys together for 6 months and they're playing together regularly, they should be developing some sort of chemistry and teamwork and ability to work with each other. But from what I saw on Monday night with the Lakers, they are on square one. They might as well be in training camp the way that they play so individually and not with each other. So I love that. I love that. So if we play together as a team, we play with any kind of energy or any kind of like effort, we should win this game because that's really the big difference. These guys are lazy. They're not trying. You see the clips of LeBron just giving up in the middle of plays, just standing there, whether it's not getting back on defense, whether it's not coming down on offense sometimes. Sometimes he'll be playing defense and he'll be near the basket. He's supposed to make a run out, a three-point shooter. He'll just stand there and wave his arm at him, and the guy will be like 10 feet away, bombing a three. That kind of stuff's going on. It's like he doesn't care to a degree. That's part of the problem with LeBron. When I saw him a couple years ago make that play where he was inbounding the ball and he threw it off the back of the backboard and went right back out of bounds and he didn't give a shit. That's when I knew LeBron James is not a real pro. He does not give a shit about things in the league. He's just cruising along. He's been collecting numbers and he's trying to get all the accolades. But when he doesn't feel like he's getting enough, he has to go and whine and cry and say something about how he's the greatest himself. You got to stop doing that, LeBron. Let us give you the roses when you deserve them. All right, let's see. Click to him. The Lakers are hungry for a win. We need to know that, though. If we lock down LeBron and Melo, we should be fine. Yeah, it's really those guys are their most scary weapons. Like if THT's not playing tonight, he could be a gifted scorer at times. Of course, Russell, same kind of thing, except his athleticism's really degraded very recently and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, sure, they're down and people have been kicking them and they're a joke and they're a laughing stock, but don't underestimate a team like that also. That they're still an NBA team. They still have one of the top 5 greatest players of all time playing for them right now and things like that going on with them. So it's really, really is it's a trap game in a way. It really is a trap game in a way, but I think that we're smart enough to realize all this and to not underestimate or take this game lightly tonight. I really hope so. And I mean, if they come out with the same kind of attitude, like Scotty Barnes really kind of sets this tone, is that he's very serious. He's very businesslike the last couple of weeks since the All-Star break. And it's like, hopefully that's rubbing off on everybody. I know Fred's the same way. Pascal's very serious, and that's what's going to help us in this situation. You need that baseline of professionalism and seriousness of how you take your job and how you come in and do things. And that is something that may be lacking on the other side in some ways with the Lakers. But we do it, and we don't take them lightly. We come out, execute. We play our game. We don't play down to them. We don't, we do what we do because what we do adds up to success. And as long as we go out there and execute our plan, because that's what we did on Monday. We went out there, executed our plan like really flawlessly, and that's how we got to 30-2. is that we were clicking, we were doing everything on defense. They couldn't do jack shit to make a score, and we were flowing on the offensive end ourselves. So yeah, I like all that kind of stuff. There really is, we're set up for success tonight, but we do need to understand the other side and how it could be bad if we don't do things right tonight. That's the thing I'm saying. So we don't want to be overconfident is basically what we need to say. Fan Chung, good morning. Good to see you. Can we expect another temper tantrum from LeBron? I really hope so. I mean, if Precious is going to guard him, Precious is going to be on him and messing him up and just giving him a hard time. Maybe that's what upsets him. Maybe it upsets him to see a prospect like Scotty Barnes, somebody who's young, who's coming up, who's already having an incredible rookie season for stats. Maybe he thinks, well, this guy in 20 years could be starting to steal some of my records from me because he's so prolific and so good because he can see the future. Maybe that's what pisses him off and throws the ball off somebody. Or maybe it's just his teammates are inept and that he has this problem with not being a very good teammate in teaching and coaching. And so that there's a divide and there's anger because of his teammates not helping him, like him getting really mad because they're not helping him fucking rebound and stuff like that. So I think that the chances, if he is going to play Fan Chung, that it's 100%. Yes, he should have a tantrum if he's going to be in uniform and on the court. Now, if he's on the bench and he's wearing a Bill Cosby sweater, then that's different. He may be over there just kind of chilling out and laughing and goofing and not really giving a shit whether his team does well or not. Watch, because that could be it. Who knows? Maybe he'll be sitting a couple seats over from Drake, and Drake will be talking trash to him from his seat. I'd love to see Drake at the game tonight and really giving the Lakers hell, giving LeBron specifically some hell, maybe a little bit to Russell, a little bit to Carmelo, but really giving LeBron some hell. Come on down to the game, Drake. We haven't been in town for a bit. We want you to be at the game. You are a helpful person at courtside. We want to hear you making fun of these guys. So there's basically your keys of victory. Hey, good morning. It's my brother, Carl. I love you, man. Tell everybody in Atlanta that I love them and I miss you guys so much. Things are pretty good. I'm having a weird week. I've been a little sick this week, but otherwise I'm okay. I've been staying up real late because the Raptors have been on the West Coast playing the LA teams. And now we got LeBron tonight here in Toronto, and we're hoping we can make him cry and whine like a big baby. I'm LeBron, baby. I'll tell you what, my brother, my little nephew is a much more mature, well-astute person. Same with my niece than this bum LeBron who comes in here. He's arrested development. There's some immaturity to this man. He just never learned some life skills as a person because he was so insulated in this basketball bubble of being so great. You're gonna be so great, LeBron. You're gonna be so great. Oh, thank you. And then he never learned certain things because he was in that bubble and nobody said no to him. They were all trying to kiss his ass because they wanted to get in that LeBron James gravy train going up while he was growing up and stuff like that. So it's very an interesting thing. All right, let's do this real quick since Tom Duke is here. Yeah, I love you, brother. Tell him I said, hey, I love my niece and nephew so much in Atlanta. They're the best. Here's the real mascot matchup. Okay, yeah, click to me. I'm saying real quick. Before I do this. Booing LeBron is inappropriate unless he does something bad in the game. I don't agree with that, click to him. I think that he deserves booing just for the malicious acts of Monday night. At least for this game, we should boo him. But because basically what we were saying as far as the slamming the ball into Scotty's midsection and then the elbow to Pascal and then the slamming of Gary, these deserve boos. And he should get them. He should get them. I believe it. You don't want the fan base to look bad. We don't look bad when we do that. Listen, trust me, our fan base looks good. We look good all over the place because we're everywhere and we care. That's part of caring. It's like we're in LA, we're going, we the North, and in the middle of the game, let's go Raptors. And we're everywhere. And we're so global. We don't look bad when we do this. When fan base boo people, it's not that we look bad. In fact, a lot of the rest of the NBA teams and other fans of other teams are with us. Like they will see us booing LeBron and be like, yeah, go on, Toronto. Yeah, he deserves it. Because a lot of people are feeling the same way about LeBron at this point. Like this is really just a LeBron fans and Laker fans are standing up for him at this point. Fans, general fans of the NBA, fans of just basketball in general, they don't like LeBron. They think he's a problem in a lot of ways. So I understand you say it makes us look bad, but I don't think so. I think that sports is you're meant to listen. We've been sitting at home for 2 years in a pandemic. We're all bent pent up. We need this kind of fun. That is fun. You go to a concert, let your hair down and get loud and smoke a joint and have a good time. You know, you go to a basketball game to get loud, cheer your team, and boo the other team. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand that Canadians are very polite, nice people, but we can do this as sports fans. Think about Philly fan. They're throwing batteries at Santa. They're fucking doing crazy shit like dumping water on people's heads when they come in and out. They're bad fans. Yeah, there's this different scales of badness. Like Detroit fan from the Malice and the Palace, Philadelphia fan, New York fan, Boston fan. These guys are all much more assholes than Toronto fan. Trust me. We're not going to get anywhere higher on the power rankings of asshole fan bases. Trust me. They have it locked in from years and years of history of bullshit and fuckery with these other Eastern teams, the teams that are in our division. They have much worse fan bases. So don't worry about us looking bad. We will never look bad compared to Philadelphia fans. Oh, yeah, we will never look bad compared to them. So don't worry about it. Click. I know I don't want to harp on it too. I just don't want to dismiss or people to be too nice because we do need to let them hear it. We haven't had fans for 2 years. We were in Tampa last year. We especially should be allowed to come to the game and express ourselves as the Raptors because we had our team in Florida for a year and we didn't have fans in the building for half of our year this year. So it's like we really got to come back full effect, and that's part of it. So I completely disagree. I'm sorry, Click. You and I agree on a lot of different stuff, but this is one I can't agree with you on. Tom Duke, okay, between daylight savings time and this late road trips, my sleep is all fucked up. Yeah, we'll say it. It's okay. Mascot matchup better be another cliffhanger. You know it's going to be, Tom. Let's do it right now. All right, the last time we saw the Raptor, he was heading out to open seas on a clipper, on a ship, a sailboat that he had just taken from this couple. This lady was racist against Raptors, and the old man was trying to rip him off by giving him a fake gold nugget, doing the old switcheroo. So he chomped their heads off, and their corpses are just laying in the sailboat, like laying there. And he's thinking, I might eat them for afternoon snack when I'm out here in the boat, just cruising around and stuff like that. So he's out there in the water, and the boat is really good, actually. He was worried because it looked a little old, looked a little dingy. It looked like it may not hold the water out and be able to go in the water and be seafaring. Well, it was fine. So he's out there sailing, and he's like, sailing takes me away. Oh, 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 oh. Everything is great. He's sailing. Things are cruising. He is feeling good like he's on a 5-game win streak on the road trip. Oh, yeah, West. That's how good he's feeling. He's just cruising. The sun is shining. He's got Christopher Cross playing. He's just, man, the Raptor is living the life. And then all of a sudden, around like evening, it gets dark. And he hears something on the boat. But wait, I'm on the boat by myself. I didn't see no pelicans or seagulls or nothing jumping on the boat and trying to be with me, hanging out. No, I hear something clamoring around behind me. He's like, I don't know. I hope this is what I think it is. It is what he thinks it is. The 2 corpses of the Lakers have just stood up with no heads. Yeah, zombie Lakers. Yeah, and they're like, we want teamwork. We want cohesion on our roster. And they're coming at the Raptor. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, what? Whoa. He's out in the middle of the ocean on this sailboat clipper, and he's got these zombie Laker people. That one lady that said, I hate Raptor lizard people. We don't deal with your kind. And then the old man who's trying to do the switcheroo with the fake gold nugget to take his real gold. And like, yeah, so he's like, what is the Raptor going to do? Oh, my gosh. So like, there's no head, though. There's like, and they're coming at him. What will happen to the Raptor? Will the zombified Laker people, the racist-ass lady and that conniving con artist motherfucker, what will happen to the Raptor in this situation? We'll find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. All right, there you go, Tom Duke. There you go. Nothing stopping the momentum of the Electro Raptor with an alpha pack of wolves behind him, the Husky Wolves. They're behind him, the history. That's right. Carl Otts is saying, let's hear what Carl Otts is saying. Atlanta sports are upside down right now. The Falcons and the Braves have replaced their franchise players. I know it's not Raptors. However, the Atlanta fan base is pissed. Hey, listen, we talk about anything here. It's fine. You want to talk about this for a second? I heard about Freddie Freeman. He's on his way out. That's too bad for y'all. I know you guys just won a World Series and stuff like that. The Blue Jays were kind of like looking at getting Freeman themselves up here. Well, I heard that about it. But yeah, that's too bad, Carl, that Atlanta sports are kind of upside down right now. The Falcons have always been kind of, that. But yeah, the Braves, that's interesting because they've been a top team the last couple of years. But I know that there's more and more people putting more direction on or more attention on Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, those Hawks, they get the playoffs last year and people got more into them. And this year they played really well in some ways also. Not as good as last year. And I'll tell you what, I don't think they're going to be as good in the playoffs this year, but they still have a winning team. They still have a lot of interest and stuff like that. So that's very interesting. Good. I'm glad you're here, man. We talk about whatever. We talked about the Batman movie recently. We talk about whatever issues politically. We're talking about Ukraine. It doesn't matter, man. This is the Raptor Freak live stream. We talk mostly about the Raptors, but we go into other areas. Yeah, we will talk about other stuff. It's all fine. Monique's here. Always fun to see Monique. I love you, Monique, super fan. Let's crush Lakers again. Go Raptors. Yes, Monique. Yes, let's crush those freaking Lakers. Let's make LeBron. You beat me again. Yes, we want to drink the salty tears of James and Russell and freaking Anthony Davis and his stupid clothes sitting there at the end of the bench looking like an idiot. Yeah. All right, the family's here. What are you talking about right now? Okay, the family, I do the real mascot matchup, which is like a ongoing saga that has cliffhangers in it that's really just a kind of mirrors what the Raptors are doing in their schedule. And they're on the boat, the Clipper boat that they got. So it always has to do with the real mascots of the teams. So it's like a Clipper and a Laker. I have to figure out how to introduce those things into the story. So that's basically what it is. It's been ongoing for a bit. It's a thing that Tom Duke and I started up earlier this season just as fun. I make up silly stories. It's basically like a dad telling their kids a bedtime story at the end of the night, just making shit up off the top of his head. So that's what it was. There's zombie Lakers coming at the Raptor out in the middle of the open sea. That's basically what it is. I know it's a little crazy. It's just a fun little dumb thing we do. All right, Tom Duke saying the family twas another episode. Yeah, he's telling you, Electro Raptor, brilliant and fluid mascot matchup. We want to maybe turn these into anime and maybe make the whole saga of the Raptor, because it's basically like the Incredible Hulk. The Raptor is the Raptor mascot normally, like Bill Bixby. But when he gets angry, you won't like him when he gets angry. He turns into a velociraptor, just like Bill Bixby would turn into Lou Ferrigno on the Incredible Hulk show. So I'm totally ripping off old 70s action shows and just adding in dumb little things and fun little stuff. So that's what I was talking about. It's like, yeah, that's the game prep. That's the keys to victory for tonight. Kill the zombies and get off the boat. All right, Scott Burville's saying, Scott B, good to see you as always. LeBron got the Goran treatment tonight. Yes, he deserves it. Please, no, we don't want to be nice Canadians. We want to be these people that sit on our hands and we're quiet and observing the game. We want to come in there and be an active part of the game. And part of the way we can be a part of the game is voicing our displeasure, whether it's with the refs for being bullshit with their calls, whether it's LeBron just being a bum and being an asshole. Like, that really was serious what he did. And I'm glad this week more and more people have been pointing out and talking about the hypocrisy of LeBron James, that he's supposed to be such a greatest player of all time, but then again, he's taking cheap shots at other players. He's in frustration like a whiny little 6-year-old would in a basketball game, flinging the ball at people in anger, stuff like that. That is not a good role model. And that is not what the greatest of all time does, because that is not great. If you are the greatest of all time, you better be great inside out in all kinds of ways if you want to be great. If you're going to be the greatest of all time and you're going to be put in that category with Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you better be fucking great all around. And I'll tell you right now, that kind of demeanor and the way you acted on Monday night, LeBron, is not great. That is not how a great player acts. And that's why I have a problem with people calling you the greatest of all time. Because that in itself, to be the greatest of all time, you have to be great in all categories. And you're not great in your personality category. There's a big problem there. That's a big, glaring part. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let me see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, family, I know you might have come on here and you expect me to do my normal spiel, like all the Raptor stuff we talk about. And then I come on and I'm talking about some crazy ass shit. You're like, whoa. He's like thinking maybe it's a murder or something like that. What does this have to do with it? I can get where you're coming from. Yeah, no, I bet people are lost. They get in the middle of my stream and I'm doing the real Raptor mascot matchup. It's real crazy. Soldier, good morning, everybody. Soldier, T1. Yeah, we're gonna win tonight. Scott B saying it's hilarious. I appreciate that compliment. It is stupid, it's dumb, and really seriously, I put no preparation into it. I'm literally reading. I'm telling you what is coming into my head right in that moment to make the story make sense. Obviously, I have to say like, okay, I have to include a Clipper and a Laker because that's the matchup and blah. If I can include real details to what's happening with the team and the matchup in the story, I'll do that. That kind of stuff. It's really silly. Monique saying, does Justin Champagnie get more minutes with the 905 come playoffs or with the big club more? I've been thinking a lot about this week, Monique. I'm glad you brought this up. The 905 played yesterday at noon. It was really weird. They were playing at noon yesterday. Watched that game. Really fun to watch. Justin did a good job. They blew out the Fort Wayne Mad Ants and did a really good job of it. They are kicking so much ass, the 905. They've clinched the playoffs for the G League. They're the first team in the whole league to do it. They're number one in the East. And baby, I want to see these guys get a G League championship this year. Yeah, Kevon Harris, Ashton Higgins. These guys are badasses. Y'all should need to watch the 905. They're a lot of fun. Justin Champagnie has been playing with them a lot lately. He did not go on this West Coast trip, which really kind of bugged him. You could tell he's that kind of guy who's like, I belong in the big league. I don't want to be in the G League. So it really bugged him that he had to stay behind and play with the 905 recently. Well, they're back. He should be at the game tonight to be on the bench with the Raptors against the Lakers. And you know what? I've been thinking about this a lot. Like we have this spot that we're thinking, oh, we could get DJ Wilson and we'll just add him, but he's out for the season. Apparently, that's what we've heard in the last couple of days. That his injury that he got is season ending, and that's why we did not continue with him when we brought in Armoni Brooks. Now, Armoni Brooks is great, but he really is just a fill-in for Malachi. So don't see us putting him on the roster past these 10-day contracts. Malachi will come back, and then Armani's gone. So basically, it's like we can continue to keep signing 10-day guys as we need and here and there, or we can convert someone from to a full contract like Justin. And I'm on the fence. There's two things I'd like to see them do, possibly. Either convert Justin, like I just said, which is something they highly likely will do. It's kind of like what they did with Yuta last year. They converted him to a full roster near the end of the year. And or I'd like to see them do it with Reggie. I really like Reggie Perry. I think that Reggie Perry is a really badass player and that he may really help us on the main roster in the playoffs. Him hitting that three-pointer against Lakeland the other night to win the game, just a lot of the things he's doing right now are really sound, and he would do really good for us with the rebounding and the defense down low. And then he can carry the ball also up the court as a 6'9" guy who can also shoot threes. I mean, he's built like Oakley, but he can shoot threes and he can dribble the ball. So I'm really big on Reggie Perry. I want them to bring him up to the main roster and have him a part of our playoff roster, actually. But if Justin ends up getting converted and it happens with him, that's great too. But those are the two most likely scenarios that I see right now, that Reggie's done that well and that he is that close to being an NBA player that maybe he gets the call up or they just convert Justin. I don't know. But that is a decision that's going to have to be made in the next month. And they'll figure it out. It'll be really what they want to do with their playoff roster, who they want and for what personnel, for what reason. Family saying he should have been suspended or something for his actions. It was disgusting. What do you go home and tell your kids about how you acted? Yeah, I agree with this. LeBron obviously should have gotten at least one technical somewhere in there. If it wasn't for the things that he did to the Raptor players, maybe it should have been when he bounced the ball like 3 times real hard on the court. Like, when somebody does that in a game, they get a technical if their name isn't LeBron James. That's what I'm saying. You could see in that game the privilege he has with the referees, where they can't call this bullshit on him because it's LeBron and he's so important for money and marketing and everything and all that kind of stuff. So they let him get away with all kinds of shit. It's like basically in society, if you're a rich white guy, you get away with shit. LeBron's the same fucking thing on a basketball court. So I hate that. I hate that. I think you're exactly right that he, maybe he should have been fined. I don't know, something. Because, and part of it is because it happened to us. They're discounted. They'll look the other way and they'll be like, well, it's the Raptors. Who cares? And that's another thing that shows in things. It's like when it's somebody that doesn't matter in the eyes of that of the entity, the NBA. That's something to say about some citizens in society, how they treat them also. Well, it doesn't matter. It's just them. That kind of shit. That's what I'm saying. There's two sides to it. G saying Reggie Perry has been standout in the 905, and another player, Higgins, is shooting from three very well. Yeah. I really, really like Reggie. There's a lot of good players on 905. I wish all those guys could get up the NBA. Kevon Harris is a baller. He deserves to get some big money because he's putting it all out there. Ashton Higgins, really talented. Tyree, all these dudes. I really, really like the 905 group. Their vibe is awesome. And once again, Isaac Bonga is a badass down there. Like, I didn't even mention Isaac Bonga within what I was just saying because he's on the team already. He'll be able to be up on the playoff team already, but he does so many good things at his height with his skills and stuff like that. G saying people were defending his actions as hustle plays. Yeah, this is the delusion. It's great examples of how we can see in sports how mechanisms work in like politics and in life and different things like that. Yeah, people will guard and safe and poo-poo it. The people that are behind LeBron will look the other way and they'll spin it away from reality and just in their own mind say, oh, he was just making hustle plays. Oh, such a genius, throwing the ball out of bounds off Scotty Barnes, off his rib cage, even though it went back in bounds. It's like they are delusional in themselves. I may be delusional to an extent for the Raptors, but they're delusional in themselves also. And maybe if I was on their side, this was Laker Freak channel, maybe I would be defending LeBron and saying all this crazy bullshit and trying to spin it towards making him look good in it. Yeah, that's how it all works, y'all. I want to pull the curtain down and show all y'all how all this bullshit in society and information is working. Even if I'm part of the bullshit, I'll admit it. Yeah, I'm pro Raptors. I'm going to spin it for the Raptors in every situation, even if I'm wrong. And that's exactly what Laker Nation is doing right now. They're spinning it even though they're wrong. And they're trying to say LeBron's a genius and he's a hustler. Yeah, he's a hustler, all right. He's a hustler. Okay, let's keep going. Scott B saying, I agree, Alexi. He shows himself in adversity. He really does. That's what happens when you get in those tough situations. Are you a nut that will crack? Or are you just a nut? I think he's just a nut because he shows an arrested development as an individual, as a person, an immaturity, a level of things that he just never got taught because it was just never involved in the lessons for him in life. Because he was brought from such a young age and sheltered in the world of basketball that he was just taken away from learning hard, tough life lessons that maybe if he had learned them, this stuff wouldn't be happening on the court. Like maybe if LeBron had been homeless as a teenager like Chris Boucher, maybe he'd have a different attitude about things. Or maybe if he was sitting in a draft party like Fred VanVleet and didn't get drafted, maybe he would deal with this a little bit different. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there, man. Raymond Jacobs saying it's because it helps to be high while listening to Mascot match. Okay, Raymond Jacob is suggesting if y'all are going to listen to my Mascot matchup, it is best to be high on maybe a marijuana joint or whatever you like to do. That's fine. I'm not going to judge you. Just stay away from the stuff that will kill you, especially that fentanyl out there is killing people left and right. Daytona spring breakers are going down there and dropping like flies. So really, if you do cocaine, maybe it's a good time to stop because fentanyl is really bad for you. It will kill you. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, I like that suggestion by Raymond Jacob. Hey, listen, I'm all about the marijuans. So you go ahead, have right at it if you want to listen to the real Mascot matchup. The family's saying we have got technicals for clapping. Think about that. Yes. The family's bringing up when Tony Brothers got real sensitive about Gary Trent slapping his arm at him. Like if this is a technical for Gary Trent, how is none of that shit that LeBron did on Monday a technical? Seriously, this is not equal among people. This is not equal. Jokic gets certain treatment. LeBron gets certain treatment. Gary Trent gets certain treatment. That's how we got to look at it. It's not the same. Scott B saying we have definitely got texts for way less, way less, way less. Especially Kyle. Like Kyle got text last year. He didn't even have any idea why he got a fucking tech. Like it's like you gave me a tech. What did I do? It's like what did he do? He's like Kyle got a tech for existing last year a couple times. It seemed like just existing. It was Sago too. It's that ref who hates him. That lady ref. She refed our last game. She hates Kyle. She would give Kyle tech just for existing, it seemed like out there. Oh my gosh. The family saying every time I see Reggie play in the 905, he looks outstanding. He really does. He's such a pro. And I was watching his after game interview, and he's just really well spoken. He has a really good attitude. We've got to remember he was drafted by the Nets last year, and he played his rookie year with the Nets. And because they had so many injuries in his first year, he had to play a lot of big minutes on the main roster Nets with Kevin Durant and those other guys. So Reggie's got some really good NBA experience for only being a 2-year player and not really playing on our team at all on the main roster this year. But he played on the main roster last year. So I really like the idea of bringing him up. And he has. We want to reward guys who have been consistently really badass down there. And he may be the guy because he really has. I love the fact that he can hit threes. And the fact that he hit a game-winning three at 6'9", like he's a forward center, is really badass. So we really need to strongly consider bringing him up, Bobby Webster. I hope you are considering this. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised because Reggie Perry deserves it. He worked really hard this year. G saying Barnes got one for flexing and Gary for pointing at his elbow. Yeah, that one where Barnes was so exuberant about a good play and he did his flex. It's really kind of his signature move when he's feeling good. He does his flex. And they gave him a tech for that. That pissed me off so bad because, look, this is not the NFL. You do not have a rule about touchdown celebrations in the NBA, which I think is a fucked up rule anyway, because I think touchdown celebrations are good for the game in some ways. Why not have a little showmanship, a little fun where a team can do something fun? Like the Magic Markers writing that stuff. I thought that stuff was cool. I think the NFL's a killjoy for being like that. So in some ways, I understand the NBA has to watch out for menacing, has to watch out for kind of like aggressive moves between players and stuff like that. But that he wasn't directing that at anyone. That was just sheer exuberance and excitement over the last play. And I hate that they punished him for that. That you shouldn't do that to a young player like that. In some ways, it shapes them. That's why I was like, don't shame him for that. Because he's growing as a player. He's going to be a badass. And it may be in 3 years, you're going to encourage that NBA. Because that may be part of his whole thing, like LeBron with the chalk. Scotty's move may be doing the flex, and he's not coming at anyone. He's not trying to put anybody in like a bear hug or a abdominal stretch or full Nelson. He's doing his Hulk Hogan after he makes the shot. There's nothing wrong with that. Let him have that. You'll find that the NBA fans will love it. People will get into it. It's a positive thing. It's not an negative thing. That pissed me off when he got that tech. It really did. Really did. All right, let's see. Family saying for sure, for nothing, and he can do whatever he wants. It's wrong. We're talking about LeBron. He can do so much out there, dirty shit, and get away with it. That's why I was so happy when he got in trouble for the the beef stew elbow earlier this year. When he hit him in that elbow, he actually got suspended for that. That was good. Because that made me have a little more faith in the NBA that they maybe will come down on LeBron. Because if he hadn't got, in fact, he should have gotten some for us too, because it was just as bad. That elbow on Pascal, they're going to try and say that it wasn't on purpose. But I'm sorry, when you have as many minutes on an NBA court for so long, you really know how to control your body and what you're doing out there. And LeBron tried to take Pascal's nose off with that elbow. And then also the timing of when it is at the end of the game. That smacks of some NHL hockey goon shit where a team's about to lose and one of the enforcer on the losing team decides to take a shot at the best player on the other team and start hitting him. That's that kind of shit. It's like, why are you trying to possibly injure our $30 million bag man, our franchise player, right at the end of the game with an elbow to his nose? That is dirty as fuck. And if he had hurt Pascal and he had been on the injury list because of that this week, that would have been really fucked up. And maybe then the NBA would have maybe given him a fine or suspended him or something for something dirty like that. Oh, my gosh. All right, let's keep going. Monique's saying, after looking at the standings, we can really get past the Celtics. I don't know who said this in a live a few days ago. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, anything's possible if we're rolling. And it really was this road trip. As soon as we beat Phoenix and Denver, we have momentum, and now we can keep going with it. Keep going with this momentum, and the sky's the limit. We'll see where we end up. But as long as we get out of the play-in and we solidify a spot in a regular roster, regular playoff spot, that's what the main goal should be. Even if it's just still 6, that's fine. We just don't want to have to mess around with the play-in with the possibility of Durant and Kyrie being on the other side of that play-in, because we know they're probably going to be in the play-in. They're going to try and get out also, but we hopefully they'll stay down in it, and we're the ones who can leap out. We just need to win tonight. I don't know if Cleveland's playing tonight also. Let me look at that real quick. I want to see if they're playing tonight also, because that is a big factor. Right now, yeah, they're playing tonight. Listen, Cleveland has Denver in town tonight, and we have the Lakers. So it's very likely that Denver can handle Cleveland tonight and we can beat the Lakers. Then we'll be a whole game ahead of Cleveland by the end of tonight. That is perfect scenario for how we can hope that things happen tonight. That Denver and Jokic come out and beat the crap out of the Cleveland in Cleveland tonight, and we just take care of business with the Lakers, and that puts us a whole game ahead, not a half game, not tied, a whole game ahead of Cleveland in the 6th spot, and they're in the 7th spot in the play-in then. Yeah, that's what we want tonight. That's what we want tonight. Scott B saying, I said 4th at the beginning of the year. I still say 4th. I also said after 2019, when Kawhi left and Durant was making fun of Toronto, that the Raptors will win a title before Durant or Kawhi. Wow, Scott B putting his mouth with his money on the line. I love this kind of stuff because I make these kind of predictions too. And you know what? I think I made similar ones just like you. I did, in fact, say at the beginning of the year that I thought the Raptors would be in the 4th position by the end of the year in the East. I don't know if that's likely still. I'd like to get the 4th. If it could happen, that's great. But if we're still in the 5th or 6th, that's fine with me also. I'll take either one at this point because the East is so jammed up and it's so close within everybody. Like Nick Nurse was talking about the other night, where we are compared to the top team Miami is so much closer than even Memphis is to Phoenix at the other end. Like the number 2 in the Western Conference is further away from Phoenix than we are to Miami at the 7th position in the East. Yeah, that's how crazy tight it is in the Eastern Conference. So we can get just between 6 and 4 seed. I'm happy. Any one of those 3 seeds will be good. And then the other thing you said, I love this, and I agree with this also. That part of the problem with these guys and what they're doing is super teams don't work, y'all. There's too much ego. There's too much bullshit. And half the guys in the super team are old. They're past their prime, and it just doesn't work. We've seen this with the Lakers and Brooklyn last year. Both those teams failed miserably with their super teams, and they did not get the championship. It was the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns that were in the finals. So I love that statement, and I believe it. I don't think that they'll win championships before we win a championship again. And I think that that's true. That, Durant and his situation in the Nets may be possibly a bit better than the Clippers, but it's also like they have to wait till next year at least and see how Ben Simmons actually fits with them. Because I don't think anything they can do this year is too late, not enough time for them to get themselves on the right page for this season and this playoffs. They're going to go out. Watch. They may even go out in the play-in, but next year they'll get it all collective together, and we'll see how they work. But on the other side with the Clippers, like I said, I don't think Kawhi is even trying at this point. Like he won't even stand up for his team when they're trying to make a rally against the Raptors in the last 2 minutes of the game. He can't even just stand up. Like he doesn't even have to clap. He doesn't even have to move around. Just stand up out of your seat and show us support that you care about your team winning in the end of the game. And he didn't do that. He just sat there. Everybody else was standing around him, and you could see there's one person sitting on the bench. He didn't give a shit. It was Kawhi Leonard. Jimmy, good morning. Duke Rocks, good morning to see you too. Reggie got called up twice on a 10-day contract, but never stuck. I'd like to know what's holding him back because he does look good on 905. Yeah, he got called up to Portland. He got called. We got to remember, listen, these call-ups from the G League to the main rosters are not supposed to be call-ups for good. These really were because of COVID reasons. So much of the stuff that happened this year with the record number of G League call-ups was because of the pandemic. And these are never really new players that we acquire and then you hold on to. They're really just stopgaps for that period of time where you really need some bodies on your roster. And that's part of it. It's not really a slight on him. If they had an open spot or something extraordinary happened, sure, they'd make room for him. But it's really just kind of a placeholder. It's just kind of you're here to take care of things while we have guys away because they have COVID kind of stuff. So it's not really anything against them or about it. It's just that they're not supposed to be regular rotation guys or guys that stay on rosters. They're just supposed to be there temporarily. But he's in our system, and we do have the ability to do something with this. So that's what I'm saying. Why not? Let's give him a shot and bring him up. It may be that maybe we're just too big, too many 6'9" guys, and that we do want to have a guard like Armani Brooks around just for safety, like what happened with Malachi and Fred being out at the same time. So it's that kind of thing. Maybe that may be part of the reason why maybe they do go with Armani Brooks and keep him around. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. It's all going to unfold in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how it's going. Jimmy Pope saying, hopes everyone's good. That's a great sentiment. It's TGIF, baby. And we got the Lakers in town, and it's home cooking because we're in Toronto. We're in the 6. We got the whole capacity. We have everybody coming back to the arena. None of this closed empty arena bullshit. We all get to come there to the game and boo the fuck out of LeBron, hopefully. I know that he's going to have a lot of fans there. There's going to be a lot of purple and gold jerseys coming there. LeBron fans, they love coming to the game and cheering them. There's a lot of LeBron fans in Toronto. Hopefully we'll have enough real Raptor fans, big-time Raptor fans that'll come down there and yell, boo over their cheers because that's what I want. I want our team. I know Click's saying, no, we don't want to look bad and boo them. No, it's fine. Listen, they may have more respect for us if we show that we do have an edge as a crowd more. Like we're great with energy and college atmosphere in the building already. What if we get more intelligent and a little bit more of an edge with a little bit of boo birding going on with different things? We give it to the refs. We give it to players that are kind of jerks and stuff like that. That's why there's no problem with booing LeBron tonight. Because really, seriously, he could have seriously put one of our main players out for the season on Monday night. That is why I want y'all to boo him, is because he could have seriously taken Pascal out for the rest of the year with a nose injury, like busting him in the face. Or he could have messed up Gary Trent Jr.'s back and messed him up for the season. That's what I want y'all to understand about this. That's why he deserves it. And that was totally unnecessary. It's just a baby acting out because he's upset with how things are going. That's what was happening. He should have let it go through his play. He should have been like, yeah, that's how you deal with it is you work it out in your play. You let your play talk for what's going on with you. You don't let your childish, immature emotions play out how you're feeling. And that's why I love a rookie, Scotty Barnes, 20 years old. He looks past it all. He's bigger than that. He acts like, yeah, I was like just trying to guard my face from him throwing the ball at me like that. But I'm still in awe of him because he's a hero to me. He's somebody I've looked up to as a kid. And it's disappointing that he acted like this towards me. But in a way, also, wow, this is kind of cool. I'm in the NBA and LeBron James just threw a ball at me in anger. That's got to be kind of a cool, weird, surreal feeling in some ways for Scotty. Let's keep going. Yeah, almost exact same elbow on Pascal. Yep, Raptor fan, no matter where they end up. Scott B, you're a real one. I know you are. Sugar Ray, as I said, I don't like the play-in. Think about it. If the Raptors best the Lakers tonight, we will be 10 games over 500. The Nets are 2 games over 500. How is that fair? Well, Sugar, like I was saying earlier, we win tonight and Denver takes care of Cleveland tonight. We're not in the play-in and we'll be fine. But yeah, the play-in's weird. I like it because it takes away some of the tanking in the season from certain teams. Like would be way more teams trying to tank at the bottom if they weren't kind of competitive. Also, there's a lot of different things that happen because the play-in, they're actually good. So I think it's a good thing. And I kind of think it's kind of cool to have this like chance to get in with a couple of games and stuff like that. It's just you don't want to be in it yourself. Let these other teams be playing teams. We want to be a real playoff team. And in a way, that is kind of a new way of bragging about your team. Is, well, you were a playing team. We're a playoff team. And that is a delineation and a difference now. And I'd love to get the kudos for being a real playoff team this year, especially when a lot of the prognosticators and the experts said we wouldn't even make the playoffs, that we would be in one of those bottom 5 teams in the Eastern Conference and Well, wait, motherfucker, we're not even in the play-in. We're in a regular playoff spot. That's what I want to say. I want to be able to say that by the end of the year. And I think we will be able to say it. And I'm with you. I don't like the play-in for us. I like the play-in for the league, but I don't like it for the Raptors. That's the difference I'm talking about here. Scott B saying, great decision to let Kawhi go. Can you imagine if we let Kawhi stay and traded Pascal for Paul George? Thank God for Masai. Yeah, we were going to get Paul George and Russell Westbrook. And we were going to trade OG and Pascal away, and it was going to be Kawhi and Russell and Paul George here in Toronto. That would have been a mess. That would have been a mess. We would have had these loafers. We would have had they look great on paper, but how often do they actually play? And when do they play in the right way? Do they play in the way that we want them to, winning kind of basketball? Or are they really just worried about their own bag and when they're going to get more money or their playing time or their own stats? These are the things I don't want players like that on the Raptors, like that. I want players that are like the ones we have. We are building the right way. It's character, teamwork, team sacrifice, not individual stats. Team sacrifice. We don't give a shit individually what we're doing each. We do whatever we do, and we hope it adds up to a win. And that's the best way to be as a team. That's part of the reason why the super teams are going to fail, and that era of the NBA is dying. That our new era is team concept. It's more like teams like Milwaukee, Phoenix, and ourselves. And that these teams like Brooklyn and the Lakers, they're dinosaurs and they're dying out. They're the real dinosaurs dying out. The Raptors thriving and alive and will make it past extinction times. These other teams are going to go extinct because this team concept is really going to be more and more important to the NBA because the strength is in numbers. When you have 5 guys on the court that are in syncopation with each other and working all together in tandem, like the Blue Angels in the sky as planes, that's a much stronger thing than having one really badass plane and then a bunch of little planes around it that are kind of like not that good. That's what I'm saying. So when we play together as a team and we execute in team concept, we're way stronger than any superstar team. I don't care who it is. You give me 3 superstars on the other team and then a whole bunch of role players just to fill out their whole roster, and we will beat that team because we have a better talent overall spread out more, and they play together in tandem and maximize the work off each other, especially on the defensive end. That's the real spot where we really show it. I love it. Monique saying, I don't know how late it is, but will the recent success of the Raptors, can Nick Nurse still get Coach of the Month? But I don't think he cares. Yeah, he could maybe get Coach of the Month. We're only halfway through the month, Monique. So there's a good possibility because of this 5-game win streak on this road trip is way crazy. Nick Nurse could be Coach of the Month for March in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't disagree with that, considering that we actually do have the longest win streak in the Eastern Conference presently. And other teams have been kind of up and down. It's not like Chicago's been super great right now. Milwaukee's had a couple problems here and there. Miami's lost a couple games here and there, even though they're at the top. Yeah, why not? But it's the kind of thing, yeah, he doesn't care. And also, it's like he won Coach of the Year in his rookie, like his second year, actually. It was his second year. He didn't win Coach of the Year the championship year, but he won it in his second year as coach. And so he's gotten these coach accolades. And it's like, who cares at this point? He's won everything as a coach already really quick in his first couple of years in the NBA, which is amazing in itself, Nick Nurse. So, but I think he would deserve that award. Eastern Conference Coach of the Month. For March, sure. Why not? Let's give it to him. G saying Barnes, since All-Star break, is averaging almost 20 points. I think it is just right underneath, 19.9 points per game, around 8.5 rebounds, and around 3.3 assists, and he dropped in the rankings. Yeah, and Raps are winning and Cavs are losing. So I thought that was their argument. Once again, they're going to convolute it in any kind of way. And this is the reason why we really need Scott to come out every night and be great. Like, be great come out and be so great that the NBA pundits and the experts, the voters for Rookie of the Year cannot ignore you. Like, seriously, he's doing these things. He's going the right steps. Like, as far as like the low post dominance, contributing to big wins, close wins against veteran teams on the road in different ways, like defensively a lot of times, or making a big shot at important times also. This all needs to be taken into account. And people can't use this blind spot anymore because most of the teams in the league have seen him now. Everybody in the NBA should have seen Scotty Barnes play at least once this year, and they need to be paying attention to him, looking at his stats. And you're exactly right. If they're going to talk about which team is winning or whatever, then they need to put us above once we get above them. But it may be that we need to get some good distance above the Cavs in the standings, and Scotty's got to really, really outperform and play at a hugely high level in this last month of the season. And I think that all could be very possible, and we hopefully will see it. But once again, he could do everything right, and everything that I just said could happen, and they still give it to Mobley, some bullshit reason or something like that. So we can't live and die whether he gets the Rookie of the Year. We have to be ready for either outcome. It'd be great if he just gets the kudos because he does deserve them. But if he doesn't, we've said this recently, that may be good also because that puts a chip on his shoulder. Maybe he gets pissed off. And maybe next year he wreaks some vengeance on the league for not winning Rookie of the Year. But I think he really does have a good shot. And we're hoping and praying that this happens for him, honestly, because he does want it. He has a legacy. He said recently he wants to be in the Hall of Fame one day. He wants to win championships. He'd like to be a Rookie of the Year. He'd like to be a Defensive Player of the Year. He wants to win a lot of awards. And if he has his eyes set on these things, and that's what we want to hear from a guy like him with all that talent and everything. If it's like he just wanted to come and show up and he didn't have goals and aspirations, I'd be a little worried. So I'm really glad he's saying this stuff and then he's going for it. And I think he will be successful on most of them. The Rookie of the Year one may be a little tough just because of the bias and the bullshit. But we'll see. Maybe he can overcome it. I really hope he can. But he does have to do a way more work than Evan Mobley does to get this award. That is actually true. Very true. Click 2 AM saying a win tonight equals 40 wins. Oh, you mean for overall? I thought you meant that this win just means that we get 40. It's equal to 40 wins. Yeah, I understand. So we'll be at 40 wins, which is great because the magic number for being over 500 for the season is 42. So if we can get to 40 tonight, that means we only win 2 more games after that. Then we have a winning season insured. And that was one of my goals at the beginning of the season. So if we can have a 500 above record, then we will be in the playoffs and we'll be fine. And that we're all online for it. It's perfect. Let's go. Let's see. Duke Rock saying Reggie Perry or Stanley Johnson. I'm leaning Perry. So what's up with the Lakers? Like you're saying, why didn't the Lakers call up Reggie Perry and put him on the roster instead of Stanley? Yeah, that's interesting. That's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe they're inept. Maybe they're not that good at their jobs. Maybe Rob Pelinka is as bad as LeBron thinks he is. And maybe it's because LeBron is too much in his business trying to do the job with him and then messes everything up. And then it becomes an ego battle. And then sometimes the decisions are made just to spite the other person because they can show that they have power. It's that kind of crap that's going on in the dysfunction of the Lakers because it's obvious that there's an issue between LeBron James and Rob Pelinka because he's been calling him out during the All-Star. He's talking about Sam Presti, how much he loves Sam Presti. And that's basically the writing on the wall is LeBron James wants Sam Presti to come and be the Lakers GM and wants him to be replacing you, Rob Pelinka. And that's part of the dysfunction. So maybe Rob's like, well, I won't get him this or that. They can't have clear heads or do good at their job if this kind of stuff's going on. So maybe it's just an oversight. Maybe it's something like that. Although, Stanley is established more as an NBA player. He has way more time on NBA court and different things like that. But yeah, I would, in a lot of ways, I think Reggie Perry is a better prospect, a better player than Stanley Johnson, obviously offensively. So yeah, that does just make sense. Why wouldn't they do something like that? I don't know. Let's not question the idiocy or ineptness of other franchises. Let's just really value and be glad that our franchise is not their franchise and that we are clear and open and able to maneuver with really quickly and without being hampered by egos and conflict within our team. It's really, really good. Okay, let me see. I want to keep going with you guys. This is really good stuff. I love what we're talking about today. This is all around good stuff in general about the state of the Raptors affairs. Click 2 AM saying, I'd rather have long-term success with a system than short-term success with superstars who leave or retire because of their egos. Yes, Click. Yes, we want real ones. We don't want money grabbers. We don't want superstars on paper. We want real ones that show up, real ones that work hard in the offseason, real ones that develop their game and get better and better every year. Van Vliet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. Yes, these are real ones. They may not be the flashiest names in the NBA, but these are real ones. And these are guys we can depend on to continue to work and keep striving for more Larry O'B's. Yeah, because part of it is, yeah, you can say, yeah, you want more championships. Everybody says they want more championships, but what work and what things are you putting into action to actually build towards it? That's what I'm saying. You go look at these other teams around the NBA, look at the Lakers. What are you putting in work-wise into action to get towards closer to the Larry O.B. LeBron? No, you're not. You are not making the steps. In fact, you're stepping backwards. You're falling backwards. In fact, you may have fallen off a cliff. That's what's going on right now. And meanwhile, we are stepping, trudging, pulling with our shoulders a sled with all the referees, all these bullshit calls, everything on our backs. And we're still pulling towards that Larry O.B., pulling everything that we have to drag through the mud behind us with us. That is the difference right there. All the adversity comes with us. We bring it. And we don't have our own. We keep it out of our ship, and the adversity is around us. Okay, let's see. What else is saying? G saying when LeBron threw the ball at Scotty, Scotty looked at the scoreboard and was like, we good. He was such a pro. He was such a mature person. The 20-year-old rookie who wasn't even born or was just born when LeBron started in the NBA. This is the difference. You have a guy who's 20 years old, a rookie who should not be that astute, that mature, that calm and cool and collected. He's in LA for the first time, playing in front of the LA crowd, and this dude is just gangster. He's just like, I don't give a shit. Like, yeah, you're right. He probably did look up at the score and he's like, yeah, I don't care that you just did that. I am emotionless. It's like they're like robots. They're like Kawhi. Like they used to say Kawhi's a motionless cyborg on the court. Well, our guys are not taking the bait. You can try and piss us off. You can try and do stupid shit like that. Maybe that's what it was. LeBron wanted to see if he could get under Scotty's skin and get a reaction out of him. Well, he did. You found out, LeBron, you're not going to get a reaction out of him. And I love what Scotty said after the game in his press conference. He's like, he's very matter of fact of it. No emotion. He wasn't mad at LeBron or he wasn't happy with him, obviously. But he was just like, I was just trying to guard my face. I just didn't want him to hit me in the face. He knew he was about to do that to him. So he was just doing this and he threw it right at his gut. That is so dirty. So dirty, LeBron. You bum. You are such a bum. All right, let's keep going. Jimmy Pope is saying, y'all see that Rookie of the Year ladder? I'm laughing my ass off. Yeah, don't even look at anything if it's ESPN out of the U.S. It's bullshit. It's tainted. It's biased. It's not going to give us our fair shake and stuff like that. He really needs to go head and shoulders above the rest and make it undeniably that he is the Rookie of the Year, and he'll get it. Andrew saying, Alexi, let's sweep. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, that's right. You know what? I love that Andrew brought this up. If we win tonight, we beat the Lakers tonight, we have swept the city of Los Angeles 4-0. We want to sweep that whole damn city. Both the Lakers and the Clippers, both of them beat them twice each time we played them. We need to finish the sweep of LA. That's right. I love that they said the other night we had to escape from LA, that old movie. Yeah, Escape from LA. And we did. We escaped from LA with a 5-game win streak intact, baby. And now we want to continue it and get 6 in the 6, baby, because we're back in the 6. It only makes sense to get 6 tonight and sweep that fucking LA team, the Lakers, the second best LA team in the NBA right now. That's right. Y'all are second best. Yeah, you're the second best team in LA. We know you are, LeBron. All right, let's keep going. Click 2am saying if he wins it or not, if he wins it or not, he's surrounded by good people who know the ins and outs of the league. He may get discouraged, but he will be with people to help him and enter year 2 with vengeance. Talking about Scotty. Yeah. I mean, is this something that we learn in AA as an alcoholic? I'm talking about my personal stuff, is that you have to really learn what you can and cannot control in your life. That when you get upset and suffer over things that you cannot control, that is your choice. You need to be able to rationalize and logically tell yourself, well, I can't control this. This outcome is out of my hands. I can control what I can control as far as the work I'm going to do on the court, how badass I'm going to show off that I'm a badass rookie. I should be the Rookie of the Year, but ultimately I cannot control this. So you just got to give it up to your higher power and say, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be. And that absolves people of so much hurt and sadness and stuff when they can absolve themselves of things that they cannot control. Because that's half of the misery in this world is over things that we can't control and that we're so upset about. You got to come to grips with those kind of things in your own way and just accept them if you can. And if you cannot accept them, you change what you can to make it different if you can. And that's the whole difference there. It's like we can't decide whether he's going to get this or not. We'd love for him to get it, and he may not get it. And I love the rest of your point also. He's going to be around the best franchise for him to develop. I just hope that there's none of this stupid shit where they say, well, you would have won Rookie of the Year, because this is gaslighting by the NBA. They'll do this shit to try and manipulate good players to leave Toronto. They'll say something like, yeah, you would have won Rookie of the Year, but you're on Toronto, so you don't get the recognition and the attention because you're in Canada. But if you had been on an American team, you would have gotten Rookie of the Year. And then Scotty's like coming around contract time, he starts thinking, man, why am I in Toronto? And then he maybe thinks about wanting to leave because of that bullshit. It's insidious, it's gaslighting, and it's a fucked up way that the ESPN and the NBA media machine in the US will try and hurt our team, is by discounting us, not allowing us a fair shake at awards. And then players on the inside think, well, I can't be here because I'm getting shortchanged because I'm on this team. I hate that. I hate that. And that was much worse in the early 2000s with different things and stuff like that. Hopefully it won't hold true in this situation. And Scotty can be like, fuck that Rookie of the Year award. I'm coming back with a vengeance if I don't get it. And I'm going to make everybody pay for not giving it to me. Because, you know, that's the whole dynamic of that whole thing right there, what I just said. And I hate to think that that's part of the thinking insidiously in the NBA head office as well. Let's encourage him on the down low to possibly leave the Raptors by showing them that we discount them and we do not give them a fair shake. Like that whole thing where they said, well, we don't get any attention because you play in Toronto. Well, that's your choice, motherfuckers. If you wanted to pay more attention to us and see us more, you could see us. And that's not our fault. You should be maybe seeing us more because we are a real playoff team year in, year out. And we should be getting more respect and getting more airtime than a bum-ass team like the one we're playing tonight. Charles Barkley said, why the fuck are we showing Laker games on TNT right now? Nobody needs to see this garbage. Like I said the other day, you might as well go down the street and watch a dog take a shit on a hydrant. It's the same fucking show. So why are they getting airtime and a team like ours is badass to watch, is entertaining, good highlights, is not getting exposed down there? That is part of the double-edged sword, the fucked up bullshit that they control and then they turn around and try and use against us. That's I just illuminated it all right there for you. You can understand what I'm just saying. But yeah, I like all around. Once again, we make it a no-lose scenario. Either he wins the Rookie of the Year award and we're happy, or he doesn't. He comes back with a vengeance and he fucks them up. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Pope saying, I understand Cade is good, but he's been taking like 25 shots per game lately on really bad efficiency. I don't understand why he's above Scotty and they aren't winning. Well, he shouldn't be. Like, you know, you could be on if Scotty was on the Magic, like the NBA wanted him to be right now, he may be averaging almost 30 points. He may be having like almost triple-double games night in, night out. If you're on a shitty team, you're going to be relied on more and you're going to get more stats. And that's what's happening with Cade. And I think you're exactly right. That Cade Cunningham, just for the fact that he's on one of the worst teams in the NBA overall, should be not considered fully, because really his stats are comparable to Mobley and Barnes. They're all right next to each other. They're not really that much. There's no guy that's head and shoulders above with the stats. So really, if you're starting to look at it, then you look at team wins. You see how much they impact the team or how important they are to the rotation, that you start factoring those factors in. Because if the stats are all pretty equal, you have to do that. So, yeah, I agree. And like I just said, Jimmy's saying it here. Imagine if Scotty took 20 to 25 shots a game. His scoring average would be way higher. And if we were using him like Cade's getting used, his stats would be way higher all around, for sure. Absolutely. Click 2AM saying, I was hearing Lakers fans talking. Hang on. All right, I was hearing fake Lakers fans talking about developing the young players. The Lakers don't develop shit. All these young players will strive on other teams, just like Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma. You know, we can keep listing all the names of great players that were there that didn't do as well with LeBron and now have gone other places and done way better, fit in way better. Because you're right, they do not develop under there. Like I said the other day, if anything, they learn bad habits from LeBron, like how to be immature, how to act like a prima donna, how to act like a superstar that puts himself above the rest of the team and isn't really actually with the team as one of them. Because that's what's happening here. He's talking down to them. He's talking down to them. He looks down on them. He is above them. He treats them like they're beneath him. And one of the things I always loved about Kyle was, and DeMar, and this may be part of the reason why Kyle had a problem with Kawhi, is that we're all for one for all. We're all equal. We do everything together. We're a team. We're treated the same. If the guy at the end of the bench has to go do something, then I should have to go do it too as the head of the team, the leader of the team, Kyle Lowry. And that was his attitude. And that's part of what we still do now. The Pascal and Fred are the same way. They're all for one for all. They don't exclude themselves from extra practices. They don't fucking like miss shit just because they can, because they're a superstar and shit like that. That's a big difference. So when you have those kind of role models as your leaders on the team, then you get development and they show they're able to teach better because there's more respect. Meanwhile, some of these young guys that are on the Lakers right now, they probably hate LeBron on the down low. They probably getting tormented from him. You know, Michael was really mean to rookies. Kobe was really mean to rookies. I can only imagine how mean LeBron and how hard he is on these young Lakers right now. If he's cussing at them full out front in the middle of the game, can you imagine how he treats them behind the scenes? So, yeah, if you want your development to be like from an abusive, really mean person who's actually like kind of not really your friend and kind of just detached and just kind of like lording over you, sure. You get your development from the Lakers and stuff like that. But I think you're exactly right, Click. The development doesn't happen there. It's more like you may be regressing guys down there because of the way you're treating them and stuff like that. Kenny, good morning. Always good to see Kenny. The crowd will be great tonight. They will be great tonight. I think they're going to be loud. We always get a good, lively crowd on a Friday night. I love Friday night crowds in the Scotiabank Arena. They come correct. There's people happy to be on the weekend, and they're not tired out from doing stuff all weekend, so they really come with some energy. And I really, really hope they do give the booing to LeBron tonight. Really come at him tonight. Scott B saying Lakers are where you go for your career to die. Yes. Yes. I mean, that's kind of been historic in some ways. Like all these aged guys like Gary Payton and Karl Malone trying to come to the Lakers and get that last championship with Kobe and Shaq and all that bullshit. You know, all those stupid teams they tried to put together that were failures. You really think about all the super teams that the Lakers have tried to put together in the last 20 years and how many of those have failed miserably. Dwight Howard and Steve Nash era, all these different times where they put them together. They just want to have names on paper, some of them older than way past their prime, and they failed. And it's just the same shit this year. Once again, it's just new names, Russell and Carmelo and Dwight Howard. And then you have, yes, the same shit. I love it. The family saying if Scotty took 25 shots a game, he would drop 25 a night easy. Definitely, easily. We're not overdeveloping our guy. We're not overusing him. We're playing him a lot. We're really getting him out there, and he's getting a lot of minutes and doing a lot of stuff. But we aren't overusing him, which that may have been hard. Like if we were giving him 25 shots per game this whole season, he may have hit a rookie wall by now and be in rough shape. It's kind of like we're understanding his tank and how we don't completely empty it each game. We give him enough time, give him enough this, let him play within himself and not overdo it, because that could have been like that if we overstressed him, overused him, or had to rely on him that much for that much scoring our team. It's a luxury. We have so many great players that we don't have to lean on him so hard. It's the same thing I was saying the other day. We have so many great players. Nobody has so much pressure on them. Sure, Pascal and Fred have a certain amount of pressure on them, but they have guys that can help them. And whereas LeBron, look, I don't know who's going to help him. I mean, he needs to maybe help himself first. And it's not even have to do with anything basketball-wise. It has to do with himself. All right, let's see. Click to I'm saying, when your team is that bad and Cade is the centerpiece as a rookie, he has the ability to take that many shots. Therefore, the points he's putting up is not supposed to be a surprise. Yeah, it really isn't. Like Cade Cunningham, listen, when they decide who the rookie of the year is, we're going to either see them make the right choice, which is our guy, or we're going to see them make a biased choice, and we'll see whether it's because they want to make it for Mobley or they want to do it with Cade. If it's Cade, I'm going to think that's really fishy. Like, I don't think Cade Cunningham should be considered at this point. I really see this as a two-man race at this point. Evan Mobley versus Scotty Barnes. Who is it going to be? And when we play them on the 24th, that'll be a really good test. Next week, we'll play them on the 24th. And whoever wins that game, maybe that'll help me decide for sure. Like if we win that game and Scotty is head and shoulders above Evan Mobley in that game, then I'm going to be like, NBA, you better look at this game now because we're getting closer to crunch time. And we see somebody who's coming up and other guys are going down as we get more pressurized and more important. So next week's going to be very, very interesting. All right, let's see. Scott B saying NBA Chev is doing 100 videos a week right now, way more informative than ESPN, TSN, and Sports Center. That's awesome. Chev's being very prolific. I love it. I love it. Yeah, he can put out a lot of videos really fast. His setup is a lot different than mine. Obviously, I'm live. I'm interacting with you guys. You could see me. He's kind of more recording and just kind of doing his spiel and cutting it up and then putting them out in little chunks and stuff like that. I love what he says. I mean, sometimes he's very repetitive, but so am I. We can be very repetitive. And I'm sure there's a lot of the same things that I say that he says also. I'm sure he's just really skewering LeBron this week and just really giving it to him, rightfully so. And, yeah, it's funny how people like him and I can be more informative in some ways because we cut through the bullshit. And maybe it's because we're given the slant from the Raptor fan perspective. And maybe we're just laying it all out there in a certain way and stuff like that. Yeah, I love Chev's insight. He really does understand the game. Him and I are from the same kind of old school mentality about how basketball should be and how it should be played and different things like that. So, like I said, I don't watch him anymore because I don't want to copycat him. And I know if I'll hear some of the things he says, I might even say the same statements and same things as him. And I don't want to be. I want to be a fresh voice myself. But I really respect Chev, and I love to hear that he's being so productive right now. And this is a good time for him to be productive. But obviously, because we're kicking so much ass, he has so many people to call out and talk shit about right now. I love it. I love it. Keep going, Chev. I'm in your corner, and we are one. You and I, we're doing the same kind of stuff out here, and I love it. But yeah, that's weird that sometimes you can get good information from different places that aren't necessarily the trusted real news source or something like that. Maybe sometimes hearing it from people like us with a little bit more of a filter of reality on top of it, you do get it more informative for sure. Monique saying, what a time to be a Raptors fan. Yes, Monique. Yes. It's always a good time to be a Raptor fan. Even if it's a low time or a high time, as long as Masai Ujiri is at the top of our structure, we are in good shape. And that free agency last year, the most important contract that was signed was that one for Masai, because that ensures that in the very future going forward, we have a good, steady hand guiding us and making sure that the Raptors are continuing to work towards something positive and more Larry O'Brien's. And that is why it's such a great time to be a Raptor fan. It's always a great time. And tonight's going to be fun. Yeah, let's have some fun and watch this Laker game, see the drama unfold, see how good our guys play and how we beat the crap out of them tonight, because we know we're going to. We are going to. We can't take them lightly, but I am pretty damn sure, I would say 85% sure the Raptors are going to win this game tonight. I'm going to say it right now. And Chris, you can come in and give us your prediction whenever you want to. Come and comment later if you're not here right now live streaming with us. Come in and just put it in. We'll love to see it. Duke saying, speaking of development, a YouTuber, Treese, put out a great video talking about the G League and how development is becoming a focus in the NBA. Gives the Raps in 905 a lot of credit. Well, it's just smart. Like you think about the different, like baseball has a farm system with the different levels with A, AAA, AA, and stuff like that. They've always had that kind of thing going with their sport. And the basketball didn't. They did kind of like with the CBA. Long time ago, there was a league called the CBA, which was like a lesser basketball league than the NBA. And then they had the D League, which morphed into the G League because everybody thought that the D League sounded bad. Oh, you're a D Leaguer. So they made it a G Leaguer. So everybody was a G, like G, and, that kind of thing. But yeah, it is really important. It just makes sense. Is most of the time NBA teams historically did it within their roster. They didn't have this affiliate that they could do stuff off of, the satellite team that they could do stuff off of. And it's been super helpful. And I think out of all the teams in the league, yeah, the Raptors 905 has helped the Raptors probably the most in some ways. Like, we really have been smart about how we use our 905 with our Raptors team. It really helps that they're just down the Gardner Expressway from each other, and that these guys can play a 905 game in the afternoon and then get on the road and drive right down to Scotiabank Arena and be available for us in a main roster game also. But yeah, the G League has been really awesome and really good. I may have to go check out this content producer that you said. His name's Treese, and see this video that you're talking about, Duke. Thanks for bringing it up. Jimmy Pope saying, gotta love Chev. Chev is funny. Chev is crazy. Like, I know he really gets into these rants, and sometimes he can be repetitive and stuff like that, but I love that. I love that edge about him. I love that he comes at them and he's like no filter, and he is hilarious. Like, some of the stuff he just comes up off the top of his head. I'm the same way. I come up with stuff off the top of my head too. It's just hilarious how you burn somebody. Like, just come up with some shit and just go off. Like, I love that kind of stuff. I'm a wrestling fan. I love cutting promos. Like, if somebody comes in here and they piss me off with something, they say something like that, you can ask some of the regulars. It's happened before. I will go off like a wrestling promo and do something like Jim Cornette or like Hulk Hogan or something like that. I'll just go off and just like blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I love doing that shit. Oh my gosh. Scott, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. I hope you keep coming back. You have been. I appreciate it. Jimmy's saying it's kind of sad because it's their job to learn about rookies and they clearly don't watch all his games. I know. I hate this. Like, it's almost like these NBA broadcasters, they get to a certain point where they're so entrenched in their job that they just don't care about learning anybody's names. I mean, you see it all the way at the top with Shaq and Charles. These guys are not learning. How long did it take them to learn Jonas Valanciunas' name and how to say it? This is something that, like, they're the best of the best, and they can't even do that. I mean, they win awards, Emmys for sports broadcasting, and they can't even fucking do that. Then every level going down, there's going to be people calling people a newbie, Pushkal Mishakam or something, whatever. They're going to mess up their names and stuff like that. Learn their names because they're going to come to your town and they can beat your ass, and you will learn their name after they beat your ass. That's what I'm saying, NBA broadcasters and stuff like that. But yeah, their job is to watch basketball. Their job is to know the whole NBA. Don't have a blind spot, experts. Learn your Toronto. Go ahead and do extra time on Toronto, maybe because you hadn't done enough time on Toronto over the years and you need to make up for it. But yeah, don't have that blind spot. Be the best in the league. You want to be like a Woj? You want to be like a Woj? Then you need to pay attention to the whole fucking league. You can't just be like, on this and this and this. Now, see, I have a real tunnel vision to what the Raptors are doing, who they're playing. And I don't see teams until we end up playing them and seeing them. But then I'll really look at them and stuff like that. I can understand that kind of mentality because the workload is really heavy if you're really following a team to have to follow all the teams in the league. I understand. But there should be a general basic level of general knowledge of all the players in the league by NBA analysts and people that are covering the NBA on TV. I'm sorry. That's your job. There's 300 players in the league. As a little kid, that was one of my favorite things to do as a little kid, was write every single player in the NBA out in a list on their teams and understand every single roster in the NBA at that time. In like the early 90s and the late 80s. That's what I was doing. A nerd kid sitting in his room, instead of playing with the kids outside, you studying NBA stats and looking at all the players and how they interact on the teams and stuff. I can tell you about the Sonics in 1991. Yeah, I can. Stuff like that. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, they should do their job, Jimmy. They're getting paid. They need to do their job. Andrew saying, Scott, yep, we the North. Andrew saying, I watched some clips of LeBron giving up on plays, and it's really sad. I feel bad for the other Laker players that have to play with him. He's not a good role model. I mean, like I said, there's that one classic play, and this isn't something new. He's been like this for a couple years now. This year has really shown it because how bad they are. But there's that one play that is so symbolic of LeBron, is when he's out of bounds and he's inbounding the ball and he's throwing it over his head and he throws it right into the back of the backboard and it goes right back out. And he doesn't even give a shit. He's just like, and he walks away. Like, he literally made one of the worst turnovers you can make, like without even getting the ball in bounds. and he didn't give a shit. Like, go find that play where LeBron inbounds the ball off the back of the backboard from underneath the backboard, and he just doesn't care. It's so funny. But yeah, you can watch. There's highlight clips of just LeBron not giving a shit, and they're really bad. Like, that's another reason why. Besides the temper tantrums and the bad sportsmanship from the other night, that is a horrible example for youngsters out there on not how to play and how to just be like that and stuff like that. So Monique's saying, as I said yesterday to you, Lex, but no one expected us to go this far, but screw them. And look, shocking the league. Yes, Monique. Monique is always believing in this team, just like we are. And she is a real one. And I love it. Monique, we deserve this because we sounded like we were crazy at the beginning of the season. We are trying to tell people we're going to be fine. We're going to be a playoff team. We're going to be good. Some of my family members thought I was crazy for saying stuff like that. You're crazy, Lex. You think we're going to be that good? I was even telling people I think we could win the championship. And you know what? Actually, the way we're playing right now and with the role players we have and the clicking and everything like that, Scotty's continued crazy ass development, we could win the championship this year. We get in the right rhythm. We get our defense airtight and we play at a high level on offense. We'll win a championship this year. Yeah, I believe it more so because of this road trip. I didn't believe it after those 3 games that we lost before the road trip, but now I believe it just because of the way we handled Phoenix and Denver and handle our business and close games against things like the Clippers and stuff like that. So, yeah, Monique, we've been there all along. We've been saying this, and now we're looking real good because, yeah, the team is performing at a certain level, and they are badasses, like we've been saying. Scott B saying, I agree. LeBron yelling at them to get a rebound. Lead by example, not your mouth, LeBron. Yeah, if you really want to go get the rebounds, go get them yourself. Yeah, show them how to do it. Go do it because that's the problem. There's too much telling and yelling and not enough doing and showing. And that's what's going on right there. Oh, yeah. Duke saying LeBron should be thanking Kawhi because if the Raps ran it back with Kawhi, he ain't winning a chip in the bubble. That is totally factual. Duke rocks. You are right on point. If Kawhi had not been so stupid and said, this team can't win another championship with this roster, you fucking idiot. Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka stuck around for another year with us. And our team was badass. We had the best record in the league. Things were shutting down with the pandemic. We were a badass team. We were on top. And even when we got to the bubble, we kicked some major ass. If you had been involved in that series with Boston, we would have handily won it, Kawhi. You know that. And then who was going to get in our way after that? So I completely agree with this statement, dude. The Kawhi Leonard's idiocy, he couldn't allow us one chance to defend our title and just try and repeat. If he had stuck around, we would have won a second championship. And that's part of the reason why the NBA was putting pressure on him to leave, because they didn't want Toronto to get a repeat. They don't want us to win championships. Like, it was good for our team and good for the NBA in some ways, but in some ways it wasn't. And in some ways they don't like it. They don't like it at all. So that's part of the forces we're up against is the NBA does not want Raptors to get multiple championships. They want us to be happy with getting one and that's it. But they don't realize how hungry this dinosaur is and that we are going to come chomp some more golden trophies into our mouths like Pac-Man. And we will be multiple time champions in the near future. Yes, we will be. It's just going to happen. The architect is Masai Ujiri and the plan and the schematics are perfect. And we are seeing this house getting built. And this foundation is very strong, and this building is badass. It's got a slide that goes out the window and goes into a pool. Yeah, it's going to be so cool when we see this house finally built, and they will know that we are another NBA championship once again. And I love it. I love it. And I believe this. I think Kawhi was really dumb, that he really fucked up, but in a way, he kind of helped us too. Because if he had stuck around, it may have been gotten to the point where we saw more the negative side of having Kawhi on our team, and we may have hated him a lot. Like, we may hate him because of how he acted on our team in the second year with us. So it is what it is. Graham, good to see Graham. Haven't seen you a bit. Now we know why a lot of players don't want to play on the same team as LeBron. Yeah, it is getting to that point. Like, honestly. Like, some people used to want to flock to play with LeBron. You think about Miami days where everybody wanted to come and play on LeBron with him and Dwayne and Chris. And now it's like, no, thank you. No, I don't want to be, your basketball like beat on person. You're going to beat me up and tell me how crappy I am. Tom Duke saying, woohoo, 6 and a 6 tonight. Let's go get number 6 in a row in the 416 in Toronto. Yes, I love it. Monique saying, Matty D said it is a 2-guy rookie race on the broadcast last game. Yeah. Well, Matt Devlin should know what he's talking about. He's good at his job. He seems to know all the players' names. He seems to know his research and things. Matt Devlin, you are a good NBA analyst. You are a good NBA person that knows his stuff. So all these other people, get your shit together, understand, and go study our rookie. You need to understand, really, if you have a vote in the Rookie of the Year race, writers, sportscasters, whoever the fuck you are, you need to go do your homework and really watch a good mixtape of Scotty Barnes from this year and understand what he's been doing for us and all the different levels of vet that he's shown in different plays, the homages he's done to former players like the Magic baby hook, the Dirk little hop step, the Duncan bank shot, the Kyle Lowry full court pass. He is doing like tributes to former NBA players in his own game. And you need to go recognize it and look for those Easter eggs. You'll have fun doing it. And then you'll be like, wow, this guy is cool. He is Rookie of the Year. Vote for him. That is what we want to see. Race Mode Daily saying, you and NBA Chev is the real deal Raptors analysis. Yes, put Chev and I on a little seat together, and we'll do the little broadcast. We'll do the pregame. We'll be there with Kate Burness, and they'll say, what do you think, Chev? What do you think, Lex? And then we'll just do our little spiel and stuff like that, and they'll be cussing. Yeah, there'll be that point where we can cuss, and we can say whatever we want. Maybe it's an X-rated channel for adults only. Like the guys on Talking Raptors on Raptors Republic, they're the best part of Raptors Republic at this point. Nick Reynoldson and Barry Taylor, I love their podcast. If you don't listen to Talking Raptors, go listen to it. It's fantastic. But Nick Reynoldson had this brilliant idea that, they mic some of the players. Why don't they have a channel where you can watch NBA games where you can hear everything that's said on the court? Like if they have mics on the court and you're watching, you don't hear the broadcasters, you don't hear any commentary. You just hear the players and the shit talk and the referees and everything's going on there. Of course, they're going to have to put it on an adult-only channel because I'm sure there's some cussing going on down there. But who would love to watch that kind of NBA? Like if you were actually watching inside the NBA, inside the game, and actually hearing the players and the refs and what they're saying and interacting, I would pay a little extra to watch that. I would. That's Nick Reynoldson's idea. I can't take it, but I'm all for it. It's a really brilliant idea in some ways. Andrew saying certain analysts have good knowledge about Toronto, like Tim Legler, for example, and Zach Lowe on the Low Post podcast. I really do think part of it is some of the analysts are former players, and some of them have things against the Raptors, like Dick Jefferson, like Paul Pierce. They just Channing Frye. These guys have vendettas or beefs with Toronto for some reason. I don't know. And they slight us. They slight us in any kind of way they can. Even guys who played for us that are analysts now slight us, like Jalen Rose and Vince Carter. So it's really weird. It's like, I think that the guys that are favorable to us are usually pretty unbiased, like regular, like cover guys like Legler and Lowe that you're saying here. And that these other guys are they're biased. Like they could be like James Worthy the other night, who's a Laker and he's really pro Lakers, or they could be very pro Celtics, like Bill Simmons, stuff like that. And that clouds the way they cover things. And that's what I'm talking about. So Zach Lowe's pretty fair overall. And yeah, Tim Legler's been a pretty good analyst for the most part. He's one of the rare former players that is like this towards us, which is great. Perkins is another one. Kendrick Perkins is really, really kind to the Raptors, and I appreciate that. And Charles is also. Charles Barkley will give the Raptors a fair shake for the most part. He has said some asinine, dumbass shit about our team also, but for the most part, he's one of the ones that will for the first time say, yeah, I believe in the Raptors. Raptors are better than you guys think. Stuff like that. Monique saying, how much points does Precious drop tonight on beast mode lately? Yeah. You know what? I think that what's going to happen with Precious tonight is really he likes taking this assignment of guarding LeBron. I'm really shifting my focus on Precious from his offensive stuff to his defensive stuff because of what they've been saying this week about how Precious wants to be one of the best defenders in the league. Precious wants to be a second OG. He wants to be another one of these guys who just shuts the water off on any player. And tonight he will be guarding LeBron again, and he is going to want to take this challenge of really shutting somebody down. really, seriously, y'all, tonight when we watch the game, really watch Precious on defense tonight and see how he's working. We may see some stuff that we didn't realize how special and how important and how great he's doing on the defensive end, because he really is excelling there. But yeah, hopefully we'll see some threes from him, some good putbacks, some good attacking the rim, and he will get some points. But I'm really focusing on his defensive stuff right now because they're talking about it a lot, and he's playing at a super high level, really, right now. Scott B saying, "Why not us? We the North. You know what? Why not us? We're good enough. We're strong enough. And God damn it, I like you." You know that old Stuart Smalley is Al Franken looking in the mirror with Michael Jordan. Is like, yeah, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, I like you. You know that kind of bullshit. I love it. Graham saying Kawhi is too fragile, injury prone, and paid way too much to sit on the sidelines. He really does. He's getting paid to sit. Steve Ballmer, whoo, what a great businessman you are. You are so brilliant. You are so smart. Wow, good job. You lured away Kawhi, and now you get to pay him to sit around. It's a fantastic job. Seymour Pape saying, big game tonight. We're going for the 6 seed. Yeah, we are, Seymour, for sure. And we should get it. Like we were saying earlier, the matchups are real nice. We got the Lakers, and the Cavs got the Nuggets. And we're both at home. We'll see what happens by the end of the night. Hopefully it all goes to plan. And we're in that 6 seed by around 11 o'clock tonight. And the Cavs are now in the play-in in the spot that we're in currently right now. Seymour saying, I made a past California hoodie. Yes, I love to see that, man. I don't know how I could see that picture or something like that. Maybe you could post a link to it in the comments or something like that. I'd love to see that hoodie, man. And if it's good, man, you know, I know the people down at Exile Vintage in Kensington Market, they make they'll make hoodies and all kinds of fun stuff. They were making Fun Guy shirts during the Fun Guy era when Kawhi was here and stuff like that. So maybe you have a good design, and it may be popular. You may be able to license it to them to make and sell in Kensington Market. You got thinking, I'm trying to help you get some business going here, Seymour. But I want to see what it looks like. Duke saying real quick, a lot of the Raps bias starts with ESPN. Stephen A. Smith couldn't give the Raptors credit for the chip. The slander DeMar and Lowry dealt with started with ESPN, and now they're praising DeMar and Lowry. Yeah, I know. That is part of it. You see it when guys leave here. Like you see Lowry go to Miami and how they herald him and champion him and treat him a certain way. DeMar is like the second coming of Jordan right now in Chicago. He's a big part of their hype machine, and he's welcome. You're exactly right, Duke. You can see it in that kind of way. Whereas the guys here, he's treated a certain way. Chris Bosh, it happened with them too. Vince Carter, same kind of shit. They get a certain thing here, and then they go somewhere else, and they're part of. It's okay to embrace them and push them in every kind of way on ESPN. We're calling y'all out on it. We're aware of this, y'all, and you need to understand that Raptor fan knows you're doing this. And the best way we can do anything about this is to ignore them and not give them any of our, attention. Is because it's not worth it. It's that media content is made for Americans. And maybe it's part of the way they propagandize, and they instill America's greater than Canada kind of overall belief bullshit and stuff like that. It's a real insecurity kind of thing. And in a way, we have a lot of the strengths from it all. In some ways, it's like they give us all these hidden bonuses and advantages by doing shit like this. Like I said, you lose to the Raptors, there's a certain poison sting to it that lingers, and then your team's all fucked up because they discount us more. So we might as well use the positives of this negative situation also. And it's also great locker room fodder for our guys. It's like, oh, they don't believe in us. Well, we feel like we have a chip on our shoulders, and maybe we go out and execute more because of it. Yeah. But man, that's a great example, Duke. You just laid it right out there. The treatment of DeMar and Kyle this year compared to how they were on the Raptors is exemplary of this whole phenomena. Yes. Raymond Jacobs saying, whenever I see Steve Ballmer shout and cheer, really reminds me back in the day of that movie Goonies. Okay, you're talking about Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. To me, he looks like a weird Friar Tuck. Like, it's like, go get like a robe and go find Robin Hood and go live in Sherwood Forest or something, Steve Ballmer or something like that. He's like a Friar Tuck to me or something. I don't know why I call him Friar Tuck, but he looks like a Friar Tuck to me. But he's really annoying. Like, I feel like his exuberance and his energy, that he should be on late night telecommercials like Billy Mays Hayes. And he should be like, he's like, he should have a catchphrase and he should be like jumping out like this. And like, oh, the new Kawhi Leonard chopper. Some shit like that. He's that kind of guy. CC, another new name. Love to see new names. Welcome. We're here every morning, sometime live between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every morning, talking daily Raptors. Today, we're previewing the Lakers here in Toronto. CC saying this is due to insular American culture. Yes, CC. This is a very sociological term. It is true. As much as there's propaganda getting rocketed and shot all over the Russian people right now to justify this invasion of our Ukraine by Putin, there's so much misinformation put on people to make them shape their beliefs and what is real in this world. And it's happening in our country, here in Canada, and in the States. And it's weird because in sports, you can see it a lot more open and out and blatant. But it's a great example of how that all mechanism works in other areas of the world, like politics and war. And in sports, it's the same kind of thing, except it's harmless in sports to a degree. So we can look at it in a way, and it's maybe a little bit more out in the open. But the more people can understand things like what CC's saying, that this has to do with insular American culture, they're very, in some ways, America's xenophobic of outsiders. America, part of the myth and the mythology that is sold to the average American citizen is that we're the greatest. Like, we're the greatest country in the world. We're greatest at this and all that, even though it's gotten to be not true over recent years in a lot of different ways. I mean, that Trump presidency really hurt them as being the greatest country in the world. I'm sorry. And then also, that's part of building that myth. So in a way, when you have a sports league that has 29 teams that are American and one Canadian team, that's an ability to do a difference with how you treat the two. And then it's to build and keep that mentality, America's better. They can use that in this whole situation. So in a way, that is part of the disadvantagement for us, is that. But yeah, it's that kind of culture. I grew up in the States. I grew up in Florida, so I understand this whole mentality that there's an insecurity to it. It's much like LeBron having to say he's the greatest himself. Well, Americans have to say that they're the greatest to themselves in the same kind of way, and it may not completely ring true because of different things. And I'm not. I think America's a great country. There's so many great things about America. But you have to really be critical of yourself and see if you really do deserve that moniker of being the greatest country in the world. What are you doing out there? How are you shaping the world for peace? How are you doing things in your own country with your own people, as far as you're tired, you're sick, and you're poor and stuff like that? Your old people. How are you treating? What's your infant mortality rate at US? Things like that. How many people died extra because of COVID? Things like that. You have to look at that. How did you handle adversity? How great are you then? And that's part of it, is like, to withhold that American greatness, they got to put down Canada. They have to put down the Toronto team and show that there's a little that difference in that way. I love that statement, Cece, and keep coming with them. I love them. Monique's saying that pep talk with Nurse and Precious really working wonders. Yeah, Precious is a badass. Like, the pictures of Precious in LA, like with his swag and that shirt with the green sculpture on it, and just like, he's just a badass. I love Precious more and more the more I'm getting to know him on the Raptors this year. And I really, really love this idea of him wanting to be a defensive stopper. Because if you think about it, we have OG already doing this kind of shit in his mentality, that they're going to start trying to butt heads and be, who's the best defender on the Raptors? Is it OG? Is it Scotty? Is it Precious? Is it Pascal? Is it Gary? If they're competing for that on the team, that's badass, because all of those guys are plus defenders, honestly, in a way. And when you have plus defenders competing on top of that within each other, oh my gosh, that's part of the reason why they're so badass on defense. It really is. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Sugar Ray saying Raptors versus everybody. We the North versus everybody. Yes, that was our whole motif for a season. Raptors versus everybody. We the North. I love it. They were putting the names of the other team upside down on it. It was really crazy. Seymour Pape saying when they play us, they think it's the tryouts for the dream team. They cry after a loss, and then when they lose to other teams, it's smiles and hugs. Yeah, I don't understand how anybody can devalue us, especially within a team. Like LeBron has to understand that the Raptors are a good NBA team. That when they lose to a team like this, it's not like it's a slouch. You are losing to a good playoff team. This isn't a bad team, and it shouldn't hurt your standards that much. Like you should be more hurt by losing to the Clippers than to the Raptors in some ways. It's that kind of thing. It's really weird how it all works. But hey, let's just use the advantages from the whole effect and take those advantages and run with them because it's really good. CC's saying, yes, remember when Draymond Green said to the Raptors and Masai in the bubble, why are Canadian team promoting Black Lives Matter? Oh my gosh, CC, you are on point. This is a very aware person coming into our live stream and pointing out like this. I love you brought this up. Because, yeah, what a fucking dumbass, Draymond. You don't understand that BLM matters up here just as much. BLM matters in every fucking corner of the globe. It doesn't matter what country it is. It doesn't matter what percentage of Black people live in that country. BLM matters everywhere. And that just shows like an ignorance and kind of a dumbassy likeness about Draymond, that he's just like, come on, dude. Really? I mean, like, is BLM supposed to just be an American thing? That America has all the rights to BLM? No. There was BLM in Europe. There was BLM everywhere in different degrees. And the solidarity shown in the Black Lives Matter movement around the world is important. And that's part of the thing is like they can become so centric to the US and just what happens in there and them and them and them. And they don't understand. They don't have a world perspective. And it's crazy. Like I was married and my ex father-in-law was a very, very important person in the state of Florida. He was the head of the Highway Patrol. Yeah, he was the head of the Department of Highway and Safety, and every single Florida license, in driver's license in the States for like a decade had my former father-in-law's name, signature signed in the bottom in the corner. And this man, he did not leave the U.S. He said, I only leave the U.S. to go to Bermuda for the islands, and that's it. I don't go to Canada because when I married his daughter and we moved to Canada, he said, well, goodbye. I will not be seeing you. I will not be coming to Canada to see you because I don't have a passport. And this is a gentleman that is a very high esteemed lobbyist at this point. He's part of the problem, honestly. He's one of these motherfuckers down there working with Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis and fucking up Florida. But anyway, besides all that, this is the kind of person that is in power and has power in the States. Somebody who does not choose to leave the States. He could, but he doesn't want to because he doesn't want to expand his horizons or understand that there's a whole other world out there that doesn't revolve around the United States. And that is a person with money, somebody who's in the 1% and who is rich and should be worldly and understand that stuff. But that's someone who chooses himself personally. And I know, because I was in his family and I was his son-in-law. So I know exactly the type of thinking that you're talking about, CC. And it is so blocking out everything else. It's just they make their reality what they want to make their reality within their country. And it's not worldly or real to the whole rest of the world. It's uneducated, like blinders. It really is. And it's by choice in some cases. It's not just that somebody's too stupid to understand or learn it. Sometimes they're very intelligent, but they choose to have those blinders and act that way to further American exceptionalists, like being so great. It's so crazy. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, CC. It was, Draymond, you're so stupid. Of course, there's Black Lives Matter counts in Canada and Toronto. It's so stupid. Golly, you just made yourself look dumb. Anyway, Duke Rock saying, did you see the Fred VanVleet podcast with Draymond Green? Green implied, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on this. Fred's such a saint for being on that podcast in the first place.
Fuck you, Draymond Green. You're going to say that to Fred VanVleet to his face, that if Clay had not been hurt, that they would have beat us. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It happened the way it was. And honestly, I think we were going to beat the Golden State Warriors no matter which lineup showed up in that finals matchup. We were on a team of destiny. We had Kawhi Leonard. We had things clicking. We were working towards that. We were going to get it. So don't give us that bullshit. Don't invite a guest to come on your podcast like Fred VanVleet and then sabotage him with your bullshit questions. Because you know what? In that moment, Fred was classier than you, Draymond. He did not take your bait. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I beg to differ is basically what he said. But yeah, Draymond, that's not classy and you're full of shit. And also, it makes you sound salty as fuck from when we did beat y'all, because we beat y'all fair and square. And don't try and discount it. And even do it to one of the main principal players that did it to you's face as a guest on your podcast. That was so unclassy and full of shit. And Draymond, you are an ass. You are a donkey. To me, you are the donkey of the league. And yeah, we just got two examples of why I think Draymond Green is overrated. He's a great defensive player, but he's overrated. And did they put him on the top 75? He shouldn't have been on the top 75 if he was. He better not have been on the top 75. But I could see them doing something stupid like that because they overvalue him so fucking much. I mean, the Warriors do need him. Without Draymond Green, they're garbage. Yeah, they don't have no defense. But he's so overvalued, honestly. Like, if he was a Raptor, nobody'd talk about him. He wouldn't even be, like, on the blip, or they wouldn't even have him on TV or anything. He could do exactly the same thing in his career, and they wouldn't talk shit about him if he was in Toronto and talking about what we've been just talking about. So, yeah, I'll read the rest of your question, even though I know exactly what you're saying. Did you see that Fred VanVleet podcast with Draymond Green? Green implied if Clay didn't get injured, it would have gone to 7 games. Fred shut him up and said we should have won it in 5. Yes, Fred. Thank you. Draymond, fuck you. That's what I got to say. Callie saying, good morning, Callie. Good to see you. Think LeBron will try to go for his stats tonight. Really hope we can shut him down. Well, it could go two ways. Either LeBron is going to play and really try hard. Like, if he plays tonight, he's going to have a little bit of get back. He's going to try and get. Because this week has not been easy for him. He's been exposed. People are talking about how shitty he is. His ego's probably been taking a beating, other than his team's been taking a beating left and right. So, yeah, we could see it two ways. Either we see him come in with a good, strong effort, and he's really going to try, or we're going to see him sit on the bench in a Bill Cosby sweater. Like I said, he'll be sitting on the bench, and he won't even be involved, and it'll be fine. So we'll see. Let's see if he shows up or not. I want to see this. Like, I kind of don't want him to show up, sure. But also, I kind of do want him to show up. I want to see us against the best the Lakers can bring at us. So we'll see. Mark Lee, good morning. Good first name. I love seeing a new name. Let me see what you're saying. Appreciate you, Lex. Coffee tastes better listening to you. Keep it up. Man, thanks, Mark. I do this every morning. I'll show up every morning at some point between 8 and 11. You can depend on me. Even the offseason, I'm going to be doing this. When the Raptors are not playing, I'll be here every day. I've committed myself to doing a live stream and interacting with y'all, talking to every single one of you, every single comment. We'll talk about it, even if it's crazy. I may go off on you if it's negative about the Raptors, but if it's positive and you love the Raptors, you're in the right place, because you will have a lot of people here echoing and agreeing with you about Raptor stuff here. But I appreciate that. It's a really nice thing to say, Mark, and I hope you will come back more days in the future. Also, please hit that red subscribe button, because that will help me get some of the goodies that YouTube unlocks at 1,000 subscribers. So I'm trying to get there. I'm on a drive. All right, Monique saying, PSA, just want to give everybody credit for talking about Reggie Perry today. High hopes and praise. Thanks, Monique. Well, you know, you're part of leading that on that, because I know that you've been a big champion of him this year also. And it's hard to deny the talent and the skills that Reggie Perry shows at 6'9". Like I said earlier, he looks like a Charles Barkley type body and banger down low, but he can hit a three really consistently. And he has the handles that we love on a big guy on the main roster. He can dribble the ball up the court just fine, and he won't get in trouble. So, I really think Reggie's a good move if we make that decision as far as with the playoff roster at the end of the year. Graham saying, Raptors development is starting to show results once again for many of our players. Really is, and quickly. Like, that has been such a big theme this year's development, and it's so great that we can be the kind of team that can develop within and still win. Because all these other teams are developing. Magic are developing. Pistons are developing, but they're not winning. We're developing, but also simultaneously winning. And that's fantastic. That's the way the Spurs used to do it. They won all the time, but they were still within developing the young guys coming up underneath Ginobili and Duncan and Parker. And that was the key to their longevity as being a playoff team year in and year out, every single year. And that's what we're trying to replicate. We are the new age Spurs of the East. It's not the Celtics like Bleacher Report and Game of Zones try to anoint the Celtics as the new Spurs franchise of the East. No, it's not them. It's the Raptors. And we are the ones who get that privilege going forward. We will do it. And that's why people like Popovich respect the Raptors team and love the Raptors too. Let me keep going. CC is saying now at Duke, yes, I saw the interview. Draymond is so salty. He's sour about the chip. I'm so glad Fred said no. Don't think you would have won without KD. You know, it woulda, coulda, shoulda. This happens every year in the finals. Like players get hurt, they go out. Magic missed the finals, then the Pistons win or something like that. You know, it happens every year. It's happened throughout the whole history of the NBA. It's nothing any different. That's part of why you need a little bit of luck, you need a little bit of skill, and you need a little bit of health to win an NBA championship. And it is a war of attrition. That's why it's so important to have good training staff, good sports medicine like Dr. Alex McKechnie. You know, having that guy on our team and load management and different smart things really helps us. And maybe Golden State didn't do a good job managing their injuries. Maybe they shouldn't have put Clay out when they did. Maybe they shouldn't have played Kevin when they did. And then they had to miss whole years of NBA seasons because of that, on that gamble. So, you know, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. It happened. You guys showed up the way you were. Some of your eggs were damaged. Too bad. Too bad. You have to be there when the game is supposed to start, and who's able to play is able to play. And you can say that that person would have showed up, but we don't know. We could have kicked your ass with your whole roster possibly also. So I hate that. I hate that. We could say all kinds of stuff. It's like we discount the Lakers bubble championship because basically they got to practice the whole time when all the other teams were not practicing. There were 3 teams that were secretly practicing. It was the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Heat. And 2 of those teams got to the finals in the bubble. And that's very fishy, if you ask me. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Alistair saying, when the playoffs come, what do you think teams will focus taking away from us? They're going to really, really focus on our 2 really important guys, Pascal and Fred. If they can limit those 2 guys as much as possible with doubles and just stymie them, they're going to hit Pascal like crazy. They're going to really guard Fred and not let him get any kind of open. So they're going to really focus on those guys. It's going to be really important for guys like Gary and Precious and Scotty to step up beside them and do big, important things to get some of the, like, they're going to have to step up and do clutch things beside them because they may be taken out by the focus of the game plans from the other team, is what I'm saying. So we'll see. We'll see. It's really going to be adjusting and figuring out what they're trying to do to us. And I love that Nick Nurse is so smart and he's so quick to make adjustments and to be really successful with them. Like, he is a huge advantage for us, honestly, because he's a super capable coach. He has a total confidence of his team. They all listen to him. They believe in him. It's to the point where Nick Nurse can tell his players, like, you do a full court press for the next 5 minutes, we'll win this game. These guys will go out there and bust their ass like that. Whereas if there's other players on other teams with coaches they don't totally respect, and they come up to them and say, you need to do a full court press for the next 5 minutes, we'll win this game, they'll be like, yeah, coach, okay. And they may not give the effort that somebody would give for Nick Nurse. So that's the kind of stuff that I love about him in the whole factoring in the playoffs, is that our guys are going to give 100% for him. And the other teams, they may not for their coaches because of different things. They may not totally trust their coach. They may not think their coach is actually that good on the down low. It's that kind of thing. Okay, let's keep going. Mark Lee saying DG is only better around Clay and Steph. Draymond Green's only better around Clay and Steph. Take the 2, and he is shit. Take this. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Draymond's an interesting player. He's played his whole career with Golden State, so it's hard to say what he would be like on other teams, whether he would even get any kind of spotlight, whether he would be just like another like big guy that kind of played like, what if he played his whole career in Minnesota? You know, nobody would talk shit about him. He'd just be like another role player, something like that. It is really interesting that, yeah, he is kind of made by the guys that were next to him, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. And I totally agree with that, and to agree. Like, in some ways, he's bigger and more important because of that. Like, if he had been on a shitty team and he didn't win any championships, nobody would talk about him. He wouldn't be invited to NBA inside the NBA TNT studio or any of that kind of stuff. He'd be a nobody, like in some ways. Yeah, because he doesn't score and he does a lot of the gritty workman kind of stuff that doesn't get any kudos on other teams. And that's why he probably wouldn't get half of any of the accolades. He would definitely not be an all-star, and he wouldn't be getting probably postseason award. He wouldn't be getting awards like defensive player or anything like that because he wouldn't get a spotlight. It's definitely because he's next to those guys. Their shine and their championships that they've gotten together has built his legend, is what it is. Yeah, I agree with that, Mark. Kenrick's saying, I shifted how I feel about Precious also. He stopped guarding LeBron after the last game. I hope he and Scotty hold it down for real. Yeah, I think that he did a really good job. Like in the last game, he was the one who was guarding Morris with that last 3-point shot where they were trying to tie it and go into overtime. It was him, and he had the perfect amount of space between him and Morris when he was trying to work around to get that open three. He didn't touch him or foul him, which was really important, but he was close enough to really ensure that he did not get a good shot. And that shot at the end was not a good shot because Precious was right there, right in front of him. You watch that play, you'll see him play perfect defense from the inbounds and staying with him and staying that right perfect defensive space between him, not fouling, no contact. He didn't even really touch Marcus Morris in that moment. He just stayed with him and stayed right in front of him and agitated him and did not let him get a good shot. It was perfect. It was a perfect job. Because there was a lot of talk about like whether we were going to foul them because we had a foul to give and we would have fouled them twice. And that was what Alvin was saying. Alvin was saying we need to foul them, not even let them get a 3-point shot. Well, they didn't even get the foul on him. They let him get the 3-point shot, and thankfully they missed it. But the strategy that Alvin thought they should do is just foul him, put him on the line. They can only make 2 points off of that. So, but they didn't get that executed. They may have been trying. I think they were trying to foul him, but the ref didn't give him the call. So it was very interesting. Jimmy Pope saying, laughing my ass off. I love the what ifs. It's all they have. What if, coulda, shoulda. Let's just deal in reality. And the reality is we have a really good rookie. We have a really good team. We have a really good team president. We have a really good coach. We have a really good team. And we should be making some noise in the playoffs because we do things right. Once again, the Raptors brand of basketball is championship basketball. It's defense and rebounding built from that. You start with the defensive end. You start with the rebounding, and that's where you get championships from. All the offensive stuff is going to come around. Scotty is showing more and more that he can be a superstar, a dominant player in the low post to be complemented with the slashing and dashing of Pascal Siakam, with the 3-point shooting of Gary Trent, with the 3-point shooting and the aptitude on offense of Fred VanVleet. There's so many offensive weapons on this team now at this point, with Precious emerging also, that this team really does have the firepower to go deep in the playoffs, that we can mess people up, that we are setting the table up just right. Like the development and everything's right on schedule. In fact, it's ahead of schedule. And that people should not discount us just because we're Toronto or we just got together now. That we are a badass bullet train that's out of control coming down the train tracks. And we don't know how far this train will go. That these guys will go get whatever the fuck they want. And if Scotty's legacy is, you didn't pick me as rookie of the year, but I'm going to go win an NBA championship in my rookie year like Magic did, hell yeah, fucking go do it. Because that's what you do to become a superstar. And they don't want to give you the flowers. You go get the flowers. And Scotty wants to win a championship. They want to win. They just make winning plays over and over again. They play good defense. They will win. And there's no telling how far they can go. It really is the sky's the limit. Some matchups are easier for us than others. It really will be interesting to see who we get. And in 7-game series, I bet on our guys every time they'll get 4 victories out of those 7. Because they are winners and they want to win. Gary Trent Jr. is conditioned to, as a young child, all the way through up. He's a winner. Fred VanVleet's always been a winner. Every level he's gone to, he's won. And Scotty's the same kind of mentality. So let's just see where this goes and be open to the possibility. Don't limit ourselves just because the NBA machine, the ESPN machine saying the Raptors should be this, that we could be way more above and beyond what they actually think we can be. And it's going to be on the floor. We'll see how it happens. Because woulda, coulda, shoulda is going to be all kinds of all over the place, especially if we start fucking teams up and putting them out. It's going to be so awesome. Alistair saying we have more talented defenders than Draymond. He's undersized and slow. We do. We have way better defenders than him in some ways. I love what you're saying with that. Let's keep going. Okay, you guys are way ahead, and I'm almost at 2.5 hours, so I'm going to speed up and finish up. Jimmy's saying, wasn't Anthony Davis on the top 75? Laughing my ass off. What has he done? A Mickey Mouse ring. Exactly. He's way too young. He's not the kind of greatness you want on that great team. If it's the NBA 75 is supposed to be the greatest players, the greatest 75 players ever play, he's not great. Anthony Davis is not a great player. He's won a championship. He's a good player, but he hasn't proven that he's great. He's not great. He did not belong on that list. I would have put Bernard King on that list ahead of him. I would have put Joe Dumars on that list ahead of him. I would have put Vince Carter on that list ahead of him. Because even though Vince, I hate him and different things, there's great things about Vince that he did in his career that are great. Even though he didn't win a championship, he expanded the game globally with what he did in the dunk contest. He made the game so much more important in Canada. That is great, great accomplishments. And if you're looking at who's great, Vince Carter should have been on that list instead of somebody like Anthony Davis or Damian Lillard, who hasn't won jack shit, or James Harden, who hasn't won jack shit, or Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook may has the greatest, have the best argument out of those guys that I just said, just because of his triple-double work and stuff like that. But honestly, really, is he great? I don't think he is. There's 80s scorers that are just as great as him that they're not even considering. Guys like Adrian Dantley, guys like Alex English. Those guys are the same to me as Carmelo Anthony or Russell Westbrook. Those guys should have been considered just as much as them. And it's just recency bias that's put some of these idiots on the NBA 75. It's recency bias. It has nothing to do whether they're actually the 75 greatest players of all time in the NBA. No, they're not. No, they're not. They didn't done shit. Monique's saying OG can make his return this week. I see it happening. What do you guys think? He's already ruled out for tonight, so we will not see him tonight for sure. I don't know. Maybe we'll see him on Sunday in Philadelphia. Maybe we'll see him when we get back from this road trip after the game against Cleveland. Who knows? We'll see. I want to see him back. And once again, we're going to see him with the thing on his left, his finger, on his ring finger, and hopefully it won't mess his shot up too much. Hopefully he'll be able to be efficient and effective and still score in some ways. It may not be his three, though. His three may be a little off. Mark Lee saying, you and Chev I always look forward to. I appreciate that, Mark. Keep coming back. I'll keep doing it. Be Rich is laughing. Yes, this is entertainment, baby. That's entertainment. Yeah, I'll do whatever I can. I mean, listen, I said, if you guys want impressions, write in here, say impression and then equals and something, and I'll do an impression of it on the live stream, because that's part of how I do my comedy. I do stand up sometimes, and I'll get up on stage and I'll say I do impressions, and you can just yell out whatever, and I'll fucking do it. I'm crazy. I'll do like a pantomime. Somebody will say do shit, be shit, and I'll do shit. I'll get on the floor and I'll lay like a turd, and I'll look exactly like a turd. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'll entertain. I'll do the entertainment. I'm here for you. Be Rich. I want you to be laughing. JT saying, good afternoon, Alexiats. Hope all is well with the family. Raps going for 6 in a row. Hope OG plays. I see us winning either way. Good afternoon, JT. Real one in the 416. Going for 6 in the 6, baby. Let's get the 6 in the 6. No OG tonight, unfortunately, for sure. CC saying, Draymond Green, pure laughing, crying out her eyes. Yes, I'm surprised he does commentary on some sports show. Yeah, he's already like a part of the live crew with the TNT crew. They've invited him. He's playing, and he's also a broadcaster at the same time. I hate that kind of shit. It's like, no, don't let him be a part of the information system while he's actively a player on a team. It's okay for guest spots, but they literally have hired him already, and he is a part of their crew with Charles and them. And when he's available, he comes and sits with them. And if they get eliminated or they're out of the playoffs, he'll go and sit with them for the rest of the playoffs. I don't like Draymond's commentary anyway. Like I said, he's one of these biased guys. He's definitely biased against the Raptors. So when he retires and he becomes one of these Dick Jeffersons, he's going to continue that fucking streak of putting us down and discounting us. He's just going to be another one of them. So Monique's saying 6 in a row in the 6. Let's go. JT's saying Draymond Green was that weird kid in the back of class staring at the ceiling with drool hanging from his mouth. Yes, that's hilarious. Yes, I mean, okay. Yeah, you just paint a real good picture. CC saying, I'm so glad I found your live stream. I have been watching the last few days. You have a new viewer, fan. Thank you. Great contact and discussions. Thank you, CC. You guys are part of what really makes this what this is. It's a two-way street. Chev is just giving you guys stuff, and I know he interacts in the comments and stuff, but I love the fact that I'm here live and we can talk about this in real time and really get a good discussion out there. Because like I said in the past, it's not just me giving y'all information. You guys give me information also, and I learn from y'all also. And I love y'all's perspectives and attitudes also. And it really helps shape and form what I think also, hearing what you guys think. So it's very much a two-way street here. And I appreciate it. I hope you put that real bell on there and say, notify you when I come on live every morning. But you know it'll be right around this time every day. So I'll be here. Jimmy Pope said, you know the refs are going to be so bad today. I already know it. They don't want LeBron to miss the play-in. Well, maybe they do. Like, I really have been thinking about this week. Is it better for LeBron to just miss the play-in altogether, tank right out, or go in the play-in and then lose in the play-in once again and get put out in the play-in? Which is more humiliating? Which is more bad? I guess not making it at all is bad, but isn't the humiliation of going and playing in the play-in and then getting put out in the play-in pretty humiliating in itself? Like last year was pretty humiliating for the Lakers, the way they did the play-in with the Phoenix Suns and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's hard to say. And it could be. I think that you're right. The refs are going to probably try and help them to a degree tonight. But once again, we can overcome that. The Lakers are that bad. And even if the refs try and help them to a degree, we play within our game. We don't get out of our game because of unfairness or any kind of bullshit. We just keep plugging along and just kick some ass. We will win. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We'll see how the whistle is. We'll know right away. We'll know as fans, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll see how the ref manipulation factor is for tonight. And hopefully it doesn't matter to us still getting a Raptor victory no matter what. JT saying at Jimmy Poe, what's different from any other game? We prevail regardless. Refs, injuries, COVID, no fans, some fans. It doesn't matter. We built different. This is true. That it's like we're coming in. We have our eyes on the prize. We understand exactly what our goals are and what we're trying to do as a team. Nick Nurse does a good job preparing these guys with game plans, and they trust in him. And he says, if you guys do this, this, and this, and this, we will win. And they believe it. They buy into it. They put the effort out on the court, and it happens. And that's all we want. We have great things going tonight. We have our full capacity Scotiabank Arena, which we didn't have a month or so ago. And now we have it. And we have it with the Lakers coming into town, LeBron. And we got to celebrate our team also. Forget about the booing LeBron. We need to show love and praise for our guys for being road warriors and going out on the West Coast and dominating the Western Conference, beating all 5 Western Conference teams in a row and coming back. And we need to cheer them. We need to let them hear the noise, the appreciation, the applause that we have for them as a team, because we really do need to understand that in some ways we're spoiled as Raptor fans. We have good things happening for us that other franchises and other sports and other NBA teams would die for, and that we should feel so lucky. And one of the best things for us to show that is our gratitude towards the team and the love that we share with them and we shower on them in the arena when they play tonight. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. Jimmy Pope saying he loves it, JT. I do too. Monique saying, no Tony Brothers, please, whoever's refereeing. Yes, no Tony Brothers. Although Tony Brothers to me is a wild card. He can either be pro Raptors or anti Raptors. He's not necessarily anti Raptors, but he's a wild card. He could fucking fuck us over, or he could fuck the other team over just as quickly too. So we'll see. I mean, if Tony Brothers is there, I don't think it will be. Who knows? Who knows who it'll be? We'll see who we get. I just don't want to see any Ed Malloy. I don't want to see any Scott Foster. In fact, I haven't seen Scott Foster for a little bit since we were talking earlier this season about his corruption with the mafia and stuff. Maybe the NBA got wise and said, maybe we need to make Scott not ref games anymore and make him go sit in Secaucus and watch the games from there instead of being so out in public in front of everyone when we know that this guy is a dirty ref that makes money with the mafia. Oh, yeah, we know that he's doing that. Ed Malloy, don't want to see him. Don't want to see Mark Davis. Don't want to see Zach Zarba again. We won't see him again. We saw him on Wednesday. And he did hurt us a little bit, but not enough to beat us. Let's see. Let me see what else is saying here. JT saying, Tony Brothers, all jokes aside, needs to retire. I feel like he's out there making calls that make no sense. He's refereeing a different time. And he's like, laugh out loud. Please retire. You're ruining the game now. I mean, yeah, he's probably close to retirement. He's a senior ref. He's been around forever. I wonder if they have like this weird union where these guys are really protected and they can get away with shit. Like if there's too tenured as a ref in the league, that they can get away with more kind of shit and stuff like that. But they have ratings and stuff like that. I don't hate Tony Brothers. I like Tony Brothers because kind of he's a badass as a ref in some ways, but he has screwed us over. But I've also seen him screw other teams over also while we've been playing. And I love that too. So it's really a double-edged sword. We can see what he does to us, but maybe he should retire. I think that in general, maybe some of the old referees in the NBA that are kind of loosely connected to nefarious things like Scott Foster, I just said, with the things from the whistleblower podcast about Tim Donaghy and the connections with all the betting and gambling on games by referees, that some of these old guard do need to retire and go be put out the pasture because they have a lot of baggage from a bad era of refereeing. And I'm specifically talking about that Western Conference playoff between the Lakers and the Kings that was so poorly done. It was so easily to see that they were rigging it for the Lakers. And Chris Webber will talk about this to this day about how they were screwed over in that playoff. That maybe all those referees from that era, the mid 2000s, need to go away. That there's enough young refs coming up in the last 10 years that you need to let go of some of those older guys with the baggage from the badder times where the refs look real biased. Because I know that the NBA is really trying hard to make the NBAs look really fair and unbiased in any kind of way. And some of those old refs have baggage with that. And until you get rid of them, NBA, you will not look like you're a fair league, is what I'm saying. So, yeah, I kind of go along with this. I mean, I like new coming in anyway. I like that there's more refs, people of color. There's more female refs. There's more diversity in the refs at this point, which is really important. You know, it's really important for there to be female refs in the NBA. It's because it does something in society in general. It teaches young children, male or female, that women can be in control, women can be in power, and women should be respected when they're in power or in control. It is a really good teaching for kids in a patriarchy and misogyny and stuff like that to avoid these kind of mentalities that men can have about women in their place. So it's really important and good for young people to see women refereeing in the NBA. I think it's a really, really good thing, a good development. It's important. Let's keep going. Andrew saying Fred has hit logo threes and more important threes than Dame. He's won a chip, and Fred has one more finals MVP vote than Dame and 99% of the league. Yes, yes. You know, I wasn't going to put Fred on the list for the top 75, but I would put Kyle on the list ahead of Dame Lillard. That Kyle Lowry maybe should have been on that top 75 greatest players of all time in the NBA. That his stats and things with Lillard are better. He's won a championship. Why isn't Kyle Lowry considered on that list? You know, that's what I'm saying. Seymour Pape saying Ben Wallace over AD for the list. That's an interesting one. I wouldn't have picked Ben Wallace, but yeah, okay. They're about similar. I mean, in fact, Ben Wallace only won one chip. So I don't know. That's tough to say. Mary Jane, good to see you. Nice new name here. I love Mary Jane in my own life. Let's see. Raps have 7 guys that produce every single night. Yes, our core is really good. They're solid guys. And if they're not producing completely on offense, like we said the other night with Gary, he was 1 for something from the field with his 3-point shot, but he did such good things on defense. He was getting to the line and getting fouled and just in general getting steals and just being a pest. Is even if they're not scoring, at least they're giving us that plus defense and they're really not hurting us on the other end. Because that's the case with some scorers in this league can't play any defense. Harden, and if they're not playing any offense, not scoring anything, they're useless on the court. Because James Harden's not going to start playing defense. If he's not hitting his shot, he's absolutely useless. So at least with the Raptors, if they're not hitting their shots or not playing well offensively, we know they're doing good things on the other end of the court to help us win. And that's a big difference. Monique saying, check out JJ Redick podcast with Nick Nurse. Oh, Nick Nurse is on JJ Redick's podcast. Oh, good to know. Thank you for alerting us to this, Monique. I will go check that out. Andrew saying, with Tony Brothers, it just depends on which team or player he hates the most in that matchup. I don't even think it's that. I think with Tony Brothers, it's an ego thing. It's like whoever challenges him first, whoever doesn't show him the respect as him being a top ref in the NBA first will get the shaft. That's the kind of thing it is. I think it's an ego thing with him. It's like if you are showing him up, or maybe you're not listening to him, or you're you give him attitude, like slapping your arm, then he'll give you a tech or he'll show you up then. But if you're playing in a way where you keep your head down, you're just working hard like the Raptors do, you're doing good things on the court, he may reward you then actually. So I don't think it's actually that he has a bias against any specific teams. He may have biases against specific players. Yes, we know about that. But I don't think it's against teams. I think it's really against whoever's going to show him up first and give him an attitude. And then his ego gets in check. And then he's trying to that's when he'll start doing funny stuff. And Mike G saying Ed Malloy got unvaxxed booted. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Ed Malloy was a ref that told them to get rid of the unvaxxed people and not let them ref or something like that, as far as refs or players. Ed Malloy is he's the dirtiest one. And to me, actually, he's the guy that I know is doing the things for the NBA wants. Like he's the one who is out there reffing the games for what the NBA head office wants for their narrative. In fact, one team specifically that Ed Malloy protects consistent level is the Celtics. If Ed Malloy is involved in a Celtics game, he is going to help them throughout the whole entire game. He will not give them any kind of bullshit calls, and he will always give bullshit calls to the other team. And in fact, he was one of the main reasons why we lost one of our games to Boston earlier this year, was Ed Malloy and his reffing. So yeah, I hate him, Mike G. I hate him, and I love your picture for your account with the Raptor on the championship. All right, guys, right at 2.5 hours. Good stuff today. Lots of stuff, fun stuff. We went over the injuries. It looks like LeBron's questionable for tonight. We'll see if he shows up and suits up or not. If he does suit up, we really need to take care of the Lakers and make sure that we don't have some sort of trap game tonight, because we just came back from a road trip. We're dealing with jet lag. We didn't see much of them on the social media last night, the Raptors, so we know that they've been sleeping, hopefully adjusting back to Eastern Standard Time and getting ready for this game tonight. Oh, you're saying Ed Malloy got laid off because he's unvaxxed. Wow. Well, that's great. If Ed Malloy's not in the league anymore, I'm all for it. That's fantastic, Mike G. Great news. If that is true, I'll have to go get that verified afterwards. But that's fantastic news if Ed Malloy's out of the league, because he's a horrible ref. I've hated Ed Malloy for years. Oh, my gosh. All right, but Raptors, come out and just be the team with the energy, the team that's really trying, the team that isn't lazy, the team that isn't led by a big whiny bitch who does bullshit things in the game because he's upset things aren't going his way. So hopefully the Raptors can just come out and continue their success. The level of play that they've had recently has been outstanding. Let's not dog it at this point now. Let's show that we're above jet lag. We're above coming back home and having a letdown game off of a road trip, that we're badasses and we can do it. Yeah, Monique's saying, does Patrick Mutombo get a coaching job in the NBA? I think he could. If he wins the G League championship this year and he's looked really good, why not give him a chance? You know, the Raptors do a weird thing where they shuffle their assistant coaches around. It could be that Patrick Mutombo's back with the main team next year and he's an assistant with us, and we send one of our other assistant coaches down to coach the G League next year. It's that kind of how they do it. They switch guys around and give them different positions so they get varied experience as a coach. And it may be that Mutombo returns to the main team as an assistant coach next season, and that they put another guy down there. It could be like somebody like Nate Bjorngren or something. They become the coach of the 905 or something. Who knows? That kind of stuff. Evelyn, thanks for subscribing. I'll be here every morning live. You can interact with me every morning, write whatever your thoughts and feelings are about Raptor World in that time, and we'll talk about it. That's always like, thanks, JT. I appreciate it. Much love to you also. Let's get that 6 in the 6 tonight, baby. We can do this. Let's go, Raptors. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you, Evelyn. And I'll be here, I promise, every single day. Let's go. Let's beat the Lakers. Let's have LeBron look like a bum once again. We are the best team in the East. I believe this. We will overcome everybody in the end. We're coming in the playoffs with a lot of steam, and we're going to be badasses. Oh, yeah. We can do anything. Be great, Scott. Continue your run for the Rookie of the Year. We know you're going to kick ass. Maybe you can get 40 points tonight against LeBron. I want to see you get a big score against LeBron, because it's a big stage when he's playing, and I want to see you get this Rookie of the Year, Scotty. So we're all rooting for you. Continue to excel and keep making the winning plays, and you will get it. We believe in you. All right. Good day, Mark Lee. All the best, guys. Let's Go Raptors!